Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Coffee with a Dog is live streaming now. My dog is your mind's best friend.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
I don't make anybody do anything. Not a maker of, oh, that's why. Good or bad. Jesus. We need a better system. I'm telling you, and if I'm telling you, then it must be questionable. Yeah. Oh, good morning. You. Good morning. It is Tuesday, December 31st, 2024, the last miserable day of this miserable year. We look forward to a new year, obviously, and we look forward to a new year that might be even more miserable. It's a crapshoot, right? Anyway, thanks for being here today. Later on in hour two, is that a little better? Yeah, trigger 1, 2. In hour two, we have an author and therapist, Robert Goodland, who somehow heals people with Gestalt therapy using a horse, or horses, 3 different horses. So we'll learn about that. Carl says you're still very tinny here. I don't know. It sounds fine here. I just don't know. It's probably this dopey system. That's all I can say about that. It's probably this dopey system. We'll be on a new dopey system soon enough. I don't know. I didn't listen back to any of the broadcasts to check to see how bad the replay sounds. But we're just not happy with this whole thing. Anyway, today, after this program, after we meet the horse guy, the horse therapist, I'm going to go join a search party for a young girl who's been missing. I think today is her 22nd day missing. Her name is Emma Ray Gavassi. I think I know her father. I think I know her father from the local music scene. Here's the deal. As far as I know, it's very strange. She's from Patchogue, New York. Now, supposedly, 22 days ago, she went outside with no shoes on. And again, 22 days ago, it's already December. She goes outside with no shoes on, I think just a tank top, no coat. And she went out to get something that she supposedly forgot in the car. A mother saw another car pull up, and they think that car dragged her off. She never came back in the house. So this is 22 days ago. Now, she's been missing, and the search party that they're organizing is several towns away, probably about good 15 miles from Patchogue. And the question is why? Well, I think she might have been sighted. Listen, kids today, they all look alike. There was a story yesterday about a 14-year-old girl that was found in Medford after being missing for a day, and people thought it was her. It was not her, obviously, but somebody who looked a lot like her. They all fit the general same description. So, 14-year-old kid, dark hair, 5'5", whatever. So, but we're going to be, things not being organized by cops. I thought it was being organized by cops. It's being organized by her father. And the plan is to go knocking on doors in the Shirley Massick area where Papoosatuck is. And obviously, without police support, it feels a little, I don't know, iffy. But I want to do anything we can do to help bring this girl home. I mean, I kind of think about what the parents must be going through. And the best thing I could possibly do with this rotten day, it's the end of a rotten year, is help find this girl and bring her home. So my wife and I are going to go down there and join the search party. Now, the search party comes down to the Pine Barrens, which is right next door. So could be trekking through some woods. Apparently, I don't know, somebody claimed to have seen her in this area. Now, it could be a complete waste of time. What I know about Maston, this is a lot crazy. Well, I used to live down in this area. This is how I know. I was one of the crazy. There's a lot of crazy people. It's like, I'm not sure if there's a mental institution nearby that people escape from down there. But the area is known for just the wackiest, I mean, wacky. It's hard to explain, but there are wacky people on the street people down in the Mastic area. Maybe it's the Papoosatuck, maybe it's the white weed. Maybe it's all that combined, but crazy area. Anyway, going to be knocking on doors. It's a little intimidated because we don't have a warrant. We're not with the police. We don't know. It'll probably be a little funny because it almost feels like you're being accusatory, right? Yeah, we're looking for this girl. You got her in here. I don't know. That's not the way to go. Anyway, hopefully we'll bring her back home. That's my plan for today, and we'll go on from there. I'm going to play some news right now if I can, and then when we're done with the 60 seconds of news, if I can, I say. Damn it, I hate this system already. I hate it worse than StreamYard, and I hate StreamYard more than anything. Well, that's impossible. If I hate this worse than StreamYard, I can't hate StreamYard worse than anything. I hate StreamYard worse than almost anything except this. We'll play some news, and then we'll meet a couple of dudes. Want to meet a couple of dudes? In 60 seconds.
This is News in 60 with Alan Edwards.
I'm Lawrence Keller in for Alan Edwards. Syria's newly formed government is grappling with growing unrest in several regions, marked by an increase in violations and acts of revenge. These developments have heightened fears among the country's minorities. Although protests against Israel's actions in Gaza dominated headlines for months, coverage has diminished, yet demonstrations opposing the conflict remain active more than 14 months after hostilities between Israelis and Palestinians escalated.
Protesters continue demanding an end to the violence in Gaza.
A devastating winter storm left 2 people dead and 6 others injured as it swept across Texas and Mississippi, eventually tearing the roof off an Alabama courthouse early Sunday and causing significant damage in downtown areas.
The roof has been blown off of the courthouse.
California Justice Department officials are investigating the death of a man who was fatally shot by his parole officer on Christmas Eve, authorities said.
Jeremy Sanchez, 26, was at his Fresno home when a physical altercation occurred with the parole agent.
And that's that. And in the room with me right now are Stephen, the I Stole the Girl Ortiz, Ron, she's in the basement, Kane, and TD, I have nothing to say for New Year's, Henderson. Good morning.
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. Did you spend too much money on gifts and now you cannot afford to celebrate the new year properly? Go to MindDogTV.com and order a bottle of Mind Dog carbonated bong water. We
That's
can't call
ugly.
it champagne.
Yeah.
What?
That's ugly.
Mind Dog carbonated bong water. Order before the end of the show and receive your bottle by 11 p.m. this evening, no matter where you live. It'll be hand-delivered by Stephen Ortiz.
Wow.
Right.
I live in Ukraine. Can I get it?
Absolutely. Order before the end of the show. You'll get it in Ukraine by 11 o'clock. And while you're there, get 2 tickets. Actually, not while you're there. As long as you're buying shit, buy 2 tickets for Fresh Brewed Comedy. Fresh Brewed Comedy.
I'm sorry, folks. Me and my tinny voice are very sorry. Now, I just wonder how you would get it there. You probably need like to Ukraine? Because it's like a 22-hour flight, right? So
no, Steven can get it there quickly. He received a magic mic last night, and he can.
Well, actually, I'm gonna go backwards. I'm not gonna go to the east. I'm gonna go to the west and go backwards through the time zones.
See,
I don't understand that, but
it's like counting down.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like having a time machine, but faster, or slower.
Yeah.
Slower.
So now, let me get your opinion on this, because I thought the cops were involved. I thought this was a police-sanctioned search for this girl tonight.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
No, I thought the police were involved in no pond water.
Carpeted pond water.
I feel a little strange now, knowing that there's no police support behind this thing. We're just going and knocking on doors. People might be a little like, "Who the fuck are you to be asking what's going on in here?" I don't know. I just wanted to, have you seen it?
That's what blows my mind is I've seen many search parties without the cops.
Yeah.
It's a community effort.
Yeah. It's almost always white people too. You don't get to see black people en masse walking through neighborhoods saying we're searching, going door to door looking for someone.
Well, that's because black people know not to go back to the scene of the crime.
The neighborhood where we'll be walking is full of black people who claim to be Indians.
Then see, that's why they changed their race to Indian. There's a reason for that. You don't leave hundreds of years of culture because you're not afraid to be part of that culture.
I don't think you have it right. I'm sorry. I think the reason for being a Puspata or a Shinnecock or whatever Indian you claim to be is do-re-mi. I think the tax laws, because they skirt taxes on everything, gasoline, everything down there.
So start a church. Like there aren't any black churches. You start a black church if you're trying to avoid taxes. The Reverend does it. The Reverend avoids taxes because he's got a church.
Oh, I did not know that. And they probably don't know that. If they know that now, if they're listening, maybe they'll give up.
It doesn't matter. Go after the Reverend. They cannot get him on tax evasion. Go after him. I dare you to go after the Reverend. Matter of fact, he dares you to go after him. He doesn't pay taxes, not one damn penny, because he has a church.
All right.
And he can sell whatever he wants from his church, and no one can touch him.
GD, quit screaming in the library.
Sorry. That's right.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice he doesn't have the green on today.
He was supposed to meet me here at the office, but no, he's like, I can go to the library.
I was at the office earlier, and then I thought people are going to think we're in the same room.
Well, he stopped here to print off that picture of your face for the wine bottle. Then he took off to the library. I was like, you can't drink there again. You're going to get kicked out again.
Carl says there's a classic episode at the Pine Barrens of The Sopranos.
According to Carl,
that's a different Pine Barrens. That's the Jersey Pine Barrens. That's the devil, where the devil is the Jersey Devil. Have you heard of the Jersey Devil? I think it was X-Files on the Jersey.
That's a hockey team.
Well,
it's a hockey team, but also it's an urban legend cryptid thing.
Yeah, it's like a Bigfoot thing.
It's like Bigfoot or Mothman type thing. Right. Yeah,
but that's different. The Pine Barrens here. I used to live down there many years ago when there was a fire there that basically burned half of. You could not get to the Hamptons. It's the dividing point between suburban Long Island and the Hamptons, and that was on fire in 1994. I think it was on fire for the entire summer, and you couldn't get through there. But it's a treacherous place. So I don't think she's dead. I really don't think she's dead. I think she's with that older creepy guy who's supporting her. I mean, she went out without shoes on in the winter, and a car just pulls up and she just disappears. Like she got in that car willing. I'm thinking it's a kid who been promised the world by some old creepy dude, and he's probably supporting her. She probably knows her parents are looking for her. This is my hypothesis. Well, you think I'm wrong?
Why not take her phone then?
That's a good question.
I don't care who's taking care of you. You're taking your phone because
then you would be found, right? Because then could ping the phone.
Yeah, but they're going to want to brag about the good life they have. They're going to tell their friends.
You don't need an ID to buy a prepaid cell phone at a store. So if that is the case, the phone could have just been left, and then they could have gotten a new phone.
Yeah, as a runaway myself, I ran away long before there were cell phones. But you don't want to be found. When you're running away, you want to cover your tracks. You definitely don't want.
So you take your phone with you and you swap SIM cards. You know.
But then, who are you going to call? If you call any of your friends, you know they're going to rat you out. You got to give when you run away, you're cutting off everybody in your life. You're not going to contact anybody because the minute you contact them, you're busted.
I'm sorry, that is not a good plan to run away with no shoes and no.
I agree. I mean, wintertime is not the best time, and just to run out to the car. But I wouldn't even run out to a car in the winter in New York. You just don't go out of the house with no shoes on. It's bad. I don't mean to laugh about it, but I would never do it. Not under any circumstances. Even if I just had to chase a chicken off the front steps, which is kind of common now. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so we'll be searching for it. I'm a little nervous about it though. I want to do a good deed. I want something good to come of 2024. So and you're
running out of time. And you're running out of time to do it.
And then you shouldn't get involved then if you want something good to happen.
Wow. You think it'd be better off if I stay home?
Probably,
I don't know.
yeah.
How are you going to feel if you find a body in the woods?
Whose body?
Oh my God!
Anybody?
I didn't even think. I'm assuming she's alive.
Well, first of all, Matt, that wouldn't be the first. That would not be the first dead body that Matt has found. Okay, so it's
no,
not
but
like,
it might be the first. Like, oh well, I don't know. He's worked with dead people a lot, so I don't know. But either way, that can't be good on the psyche. It's not.
Never assume that they're dead. I mean, I've made that mistake a couple times.
Yeah, it's true. All of a sudden, they come to, and you're like, "I'm sorry, I thought you were dead. I shouldn't have fucked you. I should have waited."
Ron's episode of SVU is my favorite Law and Order episode. It really is.
He didn't make that mistake once. He made that mistake a couple of times. Wow.
You got to check for a pulse or put a mirror under the nose. Who hasn't fallen for that one?
So, later on, we're going to have a guy who deals with horses with therapy, and it's just kind of I don't know. It's weird. It's like
horse therapy.
Gestalt.
No. You got psychological problems. You got whatever you're dealing with. I'm going to help you resolve your problems. Let's go for a walk with the horse.
Yeah, dude, that's a real thing.
I know it's a real thing. We got a guy on about it today. I don't know if you're aware, but we have a real thing guy.
I'm excited. I can't wait to talk to him.
The problem, the only problem I have with this, as with all therapies, okay, because doctor-patient, technically these people aren't doctors, so there is no doctor-patient confidentiality agreement, right?
I don't know if he's a doctor. Hold on, I think he's got some kind of official training and certification.
Firefighter.
My theory on horse therapy is this: they are using fear of that horse killing you to keep you calm. Because if you're walking a horse and you lose your shit, that horse is gonna beat your ass and kick you across the field.
It's so pretty.
Well, my concern is that nothing's going to stop those horses from talking to each other and sharing your secrets.
That's true.
I mean,
Ed.
Well, it could be Ed, could be Francis.
Oh, Wilbur.
Oh, Wilbur, you know what we learned about Matt today?
I mean, I totally get the physical therapy side of it. When I did horse therapy for 2 years, and it helped with like balance and core strength and all that. But
how did it help you? It helped the horse with balance and core strength, but how did it help you?
Same.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I can fathom how it would help with mental stuff, but I don't see how it would be as effective as real therapy. But we'll see.
All right. Yes, we will see. And the guy's dressed in like a cowboy thing. It looks like in his promotional pictures, he looks like a Yellowstone ad, like Kevin Costner advertising Yellowstone. So,
howdy, partner.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to try this video. I want to try and share it. I just want to see what happens since we're talking about.
I'm glad so you are sharing it or you upload it, because GD can't figure out how to upload stuff, or it won't let.
I'm going to share it.
You can upload some videos. But I can't. You can't.
They told you to do what you love, and you'll never work a day in your life. And you gotta hand it to them because they were right, and you were schlong.
That's tasty.
The that's tasty stuff. You seem to have a pipeline to a whole collection of that's tasty finishing things. Are these things that you created?
Yes.
I get muted. Yeah, no, I didn't get muted. We lost Ron. Did he mute himself?
No,
Yeah,
I'm
he did.
here. No, that's mine. That's tasty.
That's tasty. That's branded. That's trademarked.
Trademark and branded.
All right. Do we have to keep that up there for the rest of the show?
No, I'm trying to see how you fucking take it down.
I don't know. I don't know. You can. I think we're stuck with it. Wait, it's got to be. It's here. That's where it is. There you go. It's at the bottom, hiding. Yeah, I'm not loving this whole new system. There's a thing that's been trending for a couple of days now on Twitter. It's the telepathy tapes. Are you familiar with this telepathy tapes? No, you guys don't know about it. I want to find out about it. Apparently, it's kids who are too young to speak, but they're still able to have conversations with their parents. Or there's one thing where a kid's not too young to speak, but he's remotely, the parent is looking at a picture and the kid is accurately describing it. I'm not sure if it's a series or where it's not on Netflix. I looked on Netflix, but on telepathy.
This sounds like the twin thing, like where twins can have like this intuitive mental connection type deal.
Yeah, but it's telepathy.
I get it. I mean, they call the twin thing telepathy too because they share the same thoughts and ideas or whatever else. But I mean, I guess it's. I mean, if they made a documentary on it, there must be some evidence that they have. I don't know how much, but
I'm a skeptic on things a lot. It's all fucking smoke and mirrors. But I have had experience with telepathy only on hallucinogens, on LSD mostly, sometimes with mushrooms. But I do think it's possible. From my experiences, the experiences I had on LSD were way too real. Where having a conversation without having a conversation.
But yeah, that's.
Yeah. So you guys don't know about it. I'm looking for it because I'm interested in watching it, listening to it. I don't know if it's audio or if it's
super skeptical about it as well. I don't know if an experience on LSD can qualify.
So you guys aren't as hip as I thought you were because something trending like that, I thought you would know about all of it.
Well, Butthole was trending too, but that doesn't mean
Butthole was trending, yeah.
It was trending.
Do we know why?
I went through the little rabbit hole on X there, and I found things like butthole coin, shit coin,
Crisco. Was Crisco oil trending with it?
There was just a lot. I can't tell if it was true or not, but everything I kept seeing was butthole coin. And there was a post that said this guy said I made it as a joke, and now it's up to like $2.13 a coin or some shit.
Butthole coin?
Yeah,
that sounds like a magic trick.
I
used to in the magic thing. Now I was a little weird, obviously, but whenever I would make something vanish, French drop or whatever, I would and either pull it out of my mouth or pull it out of my ass. And when I pulled it out of my ass, the verification, I passed it out for a sniff test.
So butthole coin is real, and somebody just dropped $100,000 on it through Coinbox. So it's a real thing.
We should start our own crypto coin, not Fisto. I think that's already been taken, but something I don't know, something else.
Dog coin. It sounds close to Doge.
Yeah, there's
Doggy coin.
Doggy coin.
Doggy coin.
I've been getting this marketing app. It says that this is software that lets you mine free Bitcoin every day, one free Bitcoin a day. Now, it's worth $98,000. A Bitcoin is worth $98,000.
I think
the app is $17.95.
I can absolutely guarantee, almost unequivocally, that is not going to give you one Bitcoin a day.
Yeah, no shit. It's $17.95, and you're not going to get a free $98,000 coin.
I would gladly go spend $18 on an app to go make $100,000 a day. Let's go.
Yeah.
Come on.
But
maybe you have to mine like 30,000 times in a day to get the one coin, and of course that's not possible.
Here's why I don't buy it. When you look, like, I've seen documentaries on these people that that mine Bitcoin off of the web, or whatever, and these machines use so much power that they're like getting shut down by the city for using so much power, or they're burning up computers. This one guy had to hook up like 200 cell phones to build a computer to do it. So there's no way an app's doing it.
Somebody said that, and listen, I don't know who it was. Whether you don't know who it was, it's really credible, right? But they said that crypto coin mining was contributing to global warming. That's how hot the computers were running.
I don't understand. I don't understand that, because they're not real coins. So what the fuck are you mining? You're digging up dirt to find what? Nothing?
So it's using metadata to basically grab the pieces from transactions, and it builds it into one coin. And these machines are using so much power that they've caused blackouts in cities. Some of these setups.
First of all, you don't want blackouts in your city, because
that's why
Bitcoin won't be the only thing disappearing. So
that's why they've been pushing nuclear power so much, because
say it again. Say nuclear again.
Nuclear.
I thought so. You're George W. Bush, aren't you? You are George W. Bush. You are.
Diaper.
Nuclear.
I don't know. I would believe an LSD telepathy trip before I would believe a Bitcoin app.
Have you ever done LSD, real LSD, Stephen?
No. The only time I've ever tried hallucinogenics, I was like, man, I wonder if I could just feel like what it'd be like to walk around the house. I ended up fighting dragons and demons to get to the fucking bathroom. I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm good.
That's weird the way these chat things come up. It's kind of small for me. It's smaller than actually in the chat room. Where did that come from?
See, on my screen, they're huge.
Yeah, they're huge on mine. So it sounds like somebody's suffering from font envy.
Now, Matt, if you can barely see the words on your screen, how are you going to find a person?
What person? I'm just gonna say, you got the girl in here. That's my line. Knock on the door. They answer the door. Where is she?
No, just knock on the door and say, "Hi, my name is Matt. I'm looking for a young girl."
Yeah. Weren't you here last week?
Now the police are involved.
Where you got her? You got her in the basement? You got her in the attic? Where is she?
I don't have a basement.
No, that's what I'm going to say when they come to the door. Now, I might get beat up a few times, 3 or 4 times.
Do you have a young girl? Do you want one?
Do you have any young girls in your house? No? Okay, I'm going to go ask your neighbor. What?
Now, my wife was quick to point out, and I've noticed this. Her father looks like a dangerous guy. He looks like he looks scary.
You said her father? Oh, the missing girl's father.
Right.
I thought the way you made the way you structured the sentence has made it sound like you're talking about your wife, husband.
Yeah.
But then you use present tense.
But my wife's father definitely looks scary by now because he's been dead for
Have the police investigated the parents yet?
Well, I'm sure they have. I mean, this guy's scary enough looking that I'm sure that would be the police. It's always somebody. The police always start domestically. It's the husband, it's the mother and father, or something, right?
Siblings.
I don't know if she
chickens and cats in the yard.
Yeah, so I really hope we find this girl. That would make that I would be a new person come Thursday morning. You guys see me Thursday morning, if you see me Thursday morning.
But it wouldn't last. By Friday you'd be like,
no way. No, I promise you, it will last through all of 2025. If we find this girl, it'll be like a miracle. I believe in God. I will be a I'll become religious.
Of course, the god would be Baal or Beelzebub or one of those gods, but it would be a god.
Why you gotta play? Are you Matt Timney? Is that who you are? I just want to say, coming back to the Matt Timney thing, the drunken painting stuff. I had one beer on that show where I did the painting thing. One beer. That's not drunken. The last time I was.
How big was the beer? How big was the beer?
Miller Lite. Whatever.
I thought it was like a 40. You know, one beer was a 40 ouncer.
Whoa, that's good. What do you mean a 12?
The last time I was drunk, it was May 23rd, 1992.
And how old is the kid from that night?
Well, the reason I know that was the last time I was drunk because that was the end of my career in broadcast radio, WNYG 1440 AM out of Babylon, New York. Showed up to the state. I came from my best friend's wedding drunk. Somebody else was subbing for me. He couldn't put a phone call through the board, and I started screaming. I started saying friggin', like, I can't take a friggin' phone call and punching the desk, and eventually fucking spilled out of my mouth. And then I knew I was in trouble then, and it just escalated from there to the point where I had a old tube television held way above my head and was going to throw it through the control room window. So that's the last time I was drunk, was May 23rd, 1992. So it's not like I have a beer now and then, but I never drink more than 2 beers. Never, ever, ever. Even on gigs and stuff. On the gigs, I'll have one vodka and cranberry for a 4-hour gig. I don't get drunk. So that's just a misnomer.
I got pulled over by the police at a checkpoint, and I'd been drinking, and I knew we knew that we were going to get pulled over because it was like New Year's Eve. As my buddy and I, we were leaving a party. And we were leaving like around 2. You know, we left shortly after 2:00. And so I was drinking vodka and orange juice. And I thought we were leaving earlier than we did. And at 11 o'clock comes, she goes, "Oh, let's stick around until close." I said, "Okay." And so I said, "Well, I'm going to switch to a beer." And he goes, "You're going to switch to beer?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Why?" I said, "Because if the police officer, we're going to get pulled over at a checkpoint tonight. And if the police ask me, have I been drinking? I can say to them, yes, my last beer was at 11. And so that way they can say, oh, okay, 11 and it's 2:00 now. He should be sober." See, and I wouldn't have lied to the police because you're not supposed to lie to the police. It makes them mad.
Dude, I got out of two DUIs that I should have gone to jail for, and I think it was either white or cripple privilege for sure.
Wow.
Well, I almost got thrown in jail because of white privilege.
Even did they make you wheel the straight line?
No, but that's the thing. So the first time, it's only happened twice. I've only driven drunk twice. The first time was going home, and I was like 50 feet from the driveway, and the cop pulled me over, comes up to the car, and I already think I'm writing phone numbers on my arm, getting stuff out of my pockets, and he's like, "You been drinking?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." And he goes, "Where do you live?" I'm like, "Right here." And he walks back to his car, comes back, and he goes, "Pull in, don't leave again." And I was like, "All right."
Don't worry, I can't.
Right. And then 2 weeks later, I did it again, but it was raining. And this time I thought, cool, I'm going to drift my car around the corner. And I whip my car sideways. And as soon as I round the corner, I make eye contact with the cop sitting at the corner. They pull me over. Different cops, but this time I didn't pull over. I pulled into my driveway, parked, turned it off as they were behind me. And then again, I think I'm going to jail. So I'm writing numbers. And at this time, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm really drunk. I'm so sorry." And they were like,
"Why didn't you just get out and run?"
Right. Well, exactly. So I don't know why, but I got away with it both times. Never done it again.
Now, I thought in an emergency you're supposed to stop, drop, and roll. Isn't it? So when the police pull your car over, aren't you supposed to never mind.
It sounded like you were saying the Reverend's dog's name, Scott Drop and Roll.
Well, I know that. Well, it is the dog's name, but I wasn't calling the dog.
All right.
Yeah.
But it sounded like that for whatever reason. So, Stephen, you're giving up the marijuana? You're quitting the marijuana?
Yeah.
We can't be friends anymore. Get off my show. No, I don't know if I told you this, but I quit for 10 years once. And
quit what? The marijuana?
Yeah, I quit for 10 years. And somebody asked me why. And that was, I was just too confused by that. I don't know why. I know why now, in retrospect, if I think back what happened. I got scared. I got scared of going to hell. But
oh yeah, that's not my fear. No.
No,
I stopped smoking pot, but not because of any reason other than the fact that I didn't like the residual smell.
I stopped smoking pot once because I ran out. But that only lasted about a half hour till I got more. But no, let's get back to why. Why? What is it? What is about the marijuana that is making you give it up? Give it up! Quit! You're.
Did you, by chance, did you talk to? Let's say, was it Barry Katz that told the other guy you need to quit smoking weed?
No.
And
no, it was a combination of a couple of things. So one was I had a weird. No, I'm racist, high or not, but no, I was. So one, I had a dream, and it was kind of like a like,
Martin Luther King.
No,
I had a dream.
I knew that was going to happen. In fact, I knew it was going to be G that was going to say that. So
I think Matt said it first.
So I kind of went through memory lane a little bit, like in this dream, and one of the things I kind of came upon was I feel like I was quicker, wittier, and funnier when I wasn't under the influence of anything.
I can not confirm that. I can unconfirm that. You're much funnier when you're stoned.
And then two, it's become a bit of a problem with like my day-to-day
You're much
activities.
funnier when I'm stoned. That's it. When I'm stoned. All right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that could be it. And then another thing is like it's become too big of a part of my day where like I would smoke and then I'd get just really lazy throughout the day and not do anything. So
yeah, I gotta get stoned because you're not funny right now.
You asked why. I wasn't trying to be funny.
No, I know. But I don't know.
Well,
Matt, are you
it is New Year's and it's almost 10 in the morning, so I think I'm going to have a beer.
No, that's a good call.
It is almost
but no, it's not my biggest. My biggest concern about it though is I use the marijuana for pain relief, and I don't like painkillers. So I'm concerned how I'm going to feel. I mean, I'm already almost 2 days in, so I don't feel bad yet. So we'll see. But
it's a whole 10 hours or something. Is that?
No, I'm at 1 day, 9 hours, and 12 minutes.
So let me just, was the bag empty, or is there still more in the bag?
No, I don't keep flour. I usually keep the vapes, and I threw them away.
Threw them away?
I did. Yeah.
What are you, fucking communist? What the hell? Who?
I know. Good yogurt.
No, when he says threw them away, he means like he threw them away into a drawer. You can always get them back later.
Yeah, I mean, you keep it there just in case, right? I
don't really have a reason to. I don't really have a just in case reason to keep it.
Kids.
So you do.
What have 3 kids and a wife? Mm-hmm. They may need it so they can put up with you.
Well, yeah. What happens if Jesus shows up at your house today? You wouldn't say, "Wow,
we're gonna have a lot."
Yeah, I'm getting high.
We're gonna have a lot to talk about before we get to the marijuana. I have some serious questions.
Oh no, that's the first thing you do. You go, oh Jesus, come on in. I got a vape here left over from when I quit yesterday.
So Matt, are you going to be stoned when you do the search, or are you going to show up?
No.
You're going but you're going to be in Uncle Chobe country, right? You're going to be in Uncle Chobe country, right?
Yeah, right. Wow, I can't believe you remember Uncle Chobe.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, I'm riding down there with my wife, and she can't stand the smell. Or I probably would be smoking on the way down if my wife were not in the car with me. But no, I'm gonna be sober and straight.
That's one of the reasons I quit too. Was like it. I always said I would quit if it felt like it was becoming a problem, right? And part of the problem was like thinking about doing something without smoking beforehand didn't sound like a thing I wanted to do. And I was
Right.
like, that's a problem.
That's not a problem. That's the problem is you got to smoke before you do it.
For me, it's a problem because I feel like I should be able to perform without marijuana. I feel like I should be able to get up in front of people without marijuana. I feel like I should be able to function day to day without it. And at this point, I don't feel like I can. So I'm going to force myself to. So, and then now that doesn't mean I won't, like, you know, for example, if I'm at the comedy club, you know, a couple months down the road and somebody's outside and offers a hit, sure, maybe. I'm not going to buy it anymore and I'm not going to keep it around. It's just not, it just doesn't sound fun anymore either. Kind of like how alcohol.
Wait, now you're lying.
No, I honestly, it's like, it's, for example, I only drink maybe 1 to 2 drinks if I go to a show. You know, because I don't like to get drunk by any means anymore. But you know, just a couple drinks.
What Matt Timney said about you. He said, "Oh, you got a drunken comedy show." That's what he thought.
Well, Matt Timney can lick my clit now. Regardless, I don't know. I need to reprioritize things. Like financially, we're not doing great, and I need to do something about that. I want to be able to afford to perform more, and throwing money away at drugs and all that bullshit doesn't make sense. So
Have you thought about Fisto Coin too?
I've thought about Fisto Coin, but instead I'm actually partnering up with a local comic, and we're going to try to revitalize the local comedy scene this year. 2020.
Yeah, I don't perform stoned or anything like that because.
Well, and that's the thing is like I've smoked so much in the last like 3-4 years that it almost feels like that's my normal state of mind, and I don't like that about me. Like I want to be able to go up there because like here's the thing, before I started smoking I was still doing comedy, but I felt like I was a lot quicker, I was a lot wittier, it was a lot snappier, and I definitely feel slowed down. So I just, like I said, it's just for me personally, I just want to kind of clean out, get healthy. I'm starting the weight loss clinic in like 2 weeks, where I'm gonna get ready to start receiving weight loss meds, and I want to get healthy. I want to lose weight. I want to be able to have my shirt off in the summertime again. And that starts with not being lazy and stoned all the time. So,
yeah, Optel had the same idea that I had when you talk about, you know, getting your finances, revitalizing the comedy scene. I just feel like if there's a high risk, not a high risk, but a low reward opportunity out there, it's in comedy.
2 years ago in this town, there was a comedy show almost nightly, and they were usually full. And in the last 2 years, we've gone down to nothing more than one open mic a week, sometimes none. And we have two full-time comedy clubs and only one open mic. It makes no sense to me. Wow. So we're gonna just try to, you know, produce some shows.
Especially when there are 3.5 billion open mic nights or in every other town in America. So,
not in Indiana, there's not though. That's the thing. Indiana fucking blows. But the lack of it means that there could be a potential to add some. So
now in AA, not that I've ever been in AA, except when I'm painting, because everybody knows I'm a drunken painter. But they say you shouldn't make more than one change at a time. So if you're quitting marijuana, you shouldn't think about weight loss, or you know, you don't try to.
Well, no, the weight loss thing is already been like a month and a half in. So, and they advised me to stop too, but I was like, do I have to? And they were like, well, no. And I was like, okay. So I didn't stop smoking at the time, but they've encouraged it, and I decided on my own to do it though. So, yeah.
All right, I'm against it. Whatever it is.
I'm against it.
That's
whatever it is.
And I've been saying ever since I first commenced it, or since you first commenced it, I'm against it.
I did look at that video, Matt, and it took me a while to find the cloud that resembled you. But once I did, I went, actually, yeah, with the ear looks a little different.
Let me ask you something. Why would me say? Does that make me self-absorbed that I see myself?
No, your fucking mind did its thing.
I think. Well, the thing is, at first I thought it looked like me, you know, and then I thought, well, I'm being self-absorbed because that really cloud, other than the cloud being dark, it doesn't look like me at all.
Speaking of dark,
trying to get ahead of people trying to like say, "Oh, look at you," whatever. Use it as make fun of me. So I was just trying to get ahead of that. Like I realized that's me in that fucking cloud because they're calling it a demon, and I kind of relate to.
Did you tell them they spelled Napo wrong? Speaking of that, look what finally came in the mail, guys.
Your white tube.
Yeah, my big white tube from GD.
Is that a dildo?
Now that was supposed to. I think that was supposed to have arrived at its house on December 2nd, I think it was, or December 9th.
This was sent out December 5th.
December 5th. Okay, so it was supposed to arrive December 9th. And he just got it yesterday.
Wow.
But it works nice. You did a good job, man.
So will that improve with the privatization of the USPS?
Probably not.
Probably not. Like, why would it improve? It'd probably get worse, right?
That'd be my guess.
Here's the deal. The United States Postal Service is not supposed to make money. When they set it up, it was not supposed to make money. It was supposed to provide a service to areas of the country where it was not efficient and profitable to deliver mail to. That's why the USPS is not, that's why it was formed. That's it. That's why it's not a full-time thing.
Let's be fair. A lot of these subtards can't figure that out, so they don't know any better.
What exactly is subtard? I'm trying to figure because it's not clear what a subtard is.
Is that like an almost retard?
No, sub would be below.
You're below tard?
Yeah, below tard.
When they go
below. So does that make you more special or less special?
Well, if they're all tards, there's no one special.
You don't even get a ticket to the special bus. You're so below tard.
They can't even qualify for the Special Olympics or the Subtard Olympics. They probably have their own Olympics.
See, now that's a little confusing. I don't get it. If you're below retarded, are you more retarded then or less retarded?
Foulmouth is calling GD out in the street right now. He's saying, "Get out here, you N-word." He's saying, "Untrue. The USPS was the only bureaucratic agency that was designed to draw a profit." Fight!
No,
fight!
No, not true.
Fight!
No.
Hey, before you argue with the foul-mouthed teacher, you should know that he was at the HEB Center on Kill Tony last night in front of 10,000 or 17,000 people.
17,000. Wow.
I don't care where he was. the USPS was not supposed to make a profit. It's like a subsidy. It's like the people in the rural areas. It's not profitable to deliver one letter 9 miles up a road, and that's the only letter that's going there. That's not profitable.
I'm going with the teacher on this one. No, I don't know either. I don't have a fucking clue about the USPS, but I'm going with the teacher.
Okay.
Okay. You're not going to fight me? No. Get a fight started. How do you get a fight started on this fucking show?
You don't get a fight started with me. I'm not going to fight with you.
Will you fight with the foul-mouthed teacher?
No.
Okay. It says, according to my Google machine,
It's a little slow on your Google machine, I have to say.
The United States Postal Service was not created to make a profit, but rather to serve as a public service. USPS was created to bind Americans together, expand from the seaboard into the hinterland, and circulate newspapers at low cost.
No wonder you didn't make it on Kill Tony. You got killed by the post office. You got killed by the Google machine. Never mind Tony.
That's why I don't fight.
You let me down. I put my money on foul-mouthed teacher, and he don't ever bet on the foul-mouthed teacher again. That's note to self.
It's kind of like the news. The news department was never supposed to make a profit.
Uh-oh.
Now they all want to make a profit. They want to make a profit. It's the same thing. The government is trying to make the USPS profitable, depending on which branch of the government and which party is in charge. But
it says it also says
it's allowed to make a profit, but that's allowed to make a profit and designed to make a profit are two different things.
See, how come it comes in before I actually see it in the chat room? It came on the screen before it was actually in the chat room.
Well, in 1958, federal law made this even clearer by stating clearly that the post office was clearly not a business enterprise conducted for profit. but a national service to process mailing needs. So like it was. So yeah, that's what the
process.
It's from Washington Post.
Process.
So
I rest my case. I'm done. I'm out. Good night.
Mic drop. Boom. Anyway.
That's right.
Wow. I have.
When I open my mouth, I'm pretty certain I'm right. Otherwise, I don't open my mouth. Or I'm certain I believe I'm right.
Yeah.
Well, if you open your mouth and you're wrong, it's gonna be you don't want that. So.
If you open, my experience is, if you open your mouth, you want a fucking load of cum shot in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
anyway. I can provide my own cum shot. I don't
Oh
need
my
to
fucking
open my mouth for you guys.
Sorry.
Has everyone gotten their bird flu shots?
Well, I'm a little bit panicking about bird flu. I wanted to bring that up because I said in the height of the COVID thing that I felt like that was a dress rehearsal, that we were failing. Now, they've already started with the I do not comply if they ask you to get a vaccine for the bird flu. I want to die. I've made it very clear that I want to die, but I don't want to die by bird flu. Like that's like one of the worst ways you can. I don't know if you follow what you go through in the death process of bird flu, but it's not a good.
I don't know.
What I want, I just want what I want. What I want. I feel like Michael Corleone now in the restaurant. What I want is Matt Timney to come up behind me with a bullet in the head. Boom! It lights out. That's what I want. That's how I want.
Matt Timney is scared of loud noises. He wouldn't use a gun.
Right. So if there is a vaccine for the bird flu, I will be the first one to fucking sign up for it. And you can guinea pig me all day because that's not the way I want to.
Is the avian flu the same as the bird flu? I know avian means bird, but I mean, because I've had avian flu and I've had swine flu.
No, you have not.
I have medical record proof of it. I had it in 2000.
Go get it right now. Get it.
Let me pull up my chart. Hold on.
You didn't have bird flu.
I did because
you did not have bird flu.
That's what they had told me.
They lied to you. They just saying like let's fuck with the retard. Let's fuck with the subtard and tell him he's got bird flu. Let's see what
I went in.
Let's see if he tries to fly.
This is when COVID first started. I went in thinking I had COVID, and they were like, well, you don't have COVID, but you have the avian flu. And I was like, well, that's shitty. And then like 3 weeks later, I got sick again, thought I had COVID, went in, and they're like, no, now you have swine flu.
Now I'm going to say this just once, and then I'll say it again. And then I'll say it again. I'll probably say it again later on. But I'm just but when COVID first came out, my wife contracted it, and they misdiagnosed it. They told her, they said, this is not COVID. This is, I think, now I'm going to say this wrong, and my wife is going to correct me when she finds out I said it wrong. But I think they said that she had
PMS,
bubonic plague.
Oh, bubonic plague. Wow.
That's what. Yeah. And it wasn't that, but that's what they said. And then later on, because of the when they found the antibodies later on, and they said, oh no, it was COVID. And
I'm confident mine was COVID too, but
my wife was on death's doorstep. She was.
I know the plague was making a comeback there for a short time. People were coming down with the plague after like 2,000 years or whatever, 1,500 years.
Yeah.
But I'm under the now you can Google it when your little Google machine there. But the death rate of bird flu, avian flu, is extremely high. Like if you get it, you're a goner. There's no.
Does it depend on the age group that gets it? Like if you're.
I don't know that. I don't know. Do I look like a doctor to you? No, I don't. Doctor Who, Doctor Strangelove, Dr. Feelgood.
Dr. Groucho.
Dr. Phil. Somebody said I look like they said you look like Dr. Phil and Steve Harvey merged into one.
Who, me?
No.
Hey. Oh. No, well, yeah, I could see that.
It's funny. I can kind of see where the two of them, I can see how you would look like their love child. I just don't see why they would make a love child.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I think they would say, you look like Steve Harvey hate fucked Phil, Dr. Phil.
even says he survived COVID in 2021. Bring it on, COVID, yeah, but bird flu has a much. I'm going to say much a few more times.
According to the World Health Organization and CDC, the bird flu has been in the U.S. since 2020, but many of the positive cases that were detected were generally the result of the virus being in the nasal passages, not exactly an infection.
No, bird flu was in the U.S. during the Obama's administration. 60,000 people died from it.
Yeah, anytime.
That's why they drew up the pandemic.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, sorry. H5N1, which is the bird flu, was first detected in '97 in Hong Kong and then appeared in the U.S. in 2003.
Right.
Yeah, whenever disease passes between humans and animals or vice versa, it's never good.
No,
it's never good.
Never.
Well,
not once. Not once. What about the pox when it went from the cow to the peoples?
Right.
That was good, right? That was the smallpox.
I had a case of kangaroo balls once. It was just the most it's entertaining.
Is that when someone jumps on your nuts?
Yeah.
Now, that's what the audio sounds like currently on this show.
Wow.
Kangaroo jumping on nuts.
Kangaroo balls.
And that's not our fault. That's this.
Yeah, dude. Matt's audio has never sounded this bad since I've been on this show, as it has the last 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah, it's true, but it does take away. It is distracting us away from the stupid comments he make because they're so focused on the sound. We ignore his stupidity.
It definitely makes me want to cry. You guys have really.
You sound like an older radio.
An older radio.
Like an older radio in like a bathroom or a shop. It's like kind of tinny, kind of a little distant.
One of those little old RCA or Zenith radios that had like a 9-volt battery. You sound like a Motorola record player with the photograph with the little sound hole on the outside. That's part of the needle. Go, hello, my baby. Hello, honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. You know you really swell. You set my heart on fire. That kind of. Mammy, don't you know me, Mammy? I'm your son Sammy from Alabama, Mammy. No.
Say something that Steven can relate to.
No, I got that reference.
Oh.
I got that one. That's why I'm laughing.
I'm wondering why that is. I'm just looking at the settings here. There's nothing that indicates there's a quality thing. Audio quality.
I think if you pay more money, you get more sound.
Yeah, probably.
They nickel and dime.
I'm gonna have to pay more money and go on a different system for next week. Definitely.
I miss Ron's sound effects. That's what I miss. I haven't heard "Finish Inside Me" or nothing
having
in like
the
a week.
option in my background. I don't like having to choose between 4 different backgrounds.
Yeah, I still can't upload back. I tried, so that's why I'm in the office and you're in the library.
Yeah, I even pulled a clip from Sunday Night Football, which is
don't be pulling stuff.
Which is a great audio drop, but I can't fucking play
it. Can you do it like this? Can you go like this and go between 4 different? Yeah, I still can't upload back. I tried. So that's why I'm in the office.
Oh.
Can you do it like that?
Yeah. That sounded just like Matt, actually.
Wow, that sounds pretty bad. It sounded bad to me.
Man.
No, there's nothing here that says the device. Because I'm thinking maybe I'm using the webcam. Maybe it's hearing me through the webcam mic, but there's nothing here that allows me to change that.
Wait, hold on.
That would be all of us. We all sound like this.
The little arrow next to the mute button. Click that, and then up top there's a microphone drop down to change your mic.
Oh no, I'm on the right mic. Audio input.
Am I on loop back, maybe? No.
Do you have your
Hello.
Ooh, that's better.
That's
wow. That was.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
It was louder and clearer.
Somebody.
That's me.
Hello. Output. Everything looks right. I don't know.
That sounds better.
No, it doesn't. Stop
A
lying.
little bit. It sounds bassier.
Oh.
That's because his test was dropped.
There you go. There you go.
In your pants.
That does sound better.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't sound better. It sounds worse.
It does. It sounds bassier.
Who's in
I feel like
Who's
you're
in the
me.
chat room chatting away? GD's got a new album coming out called "Getting Jammy with Mammy." Oh,
it's called the Stepdad
that
Chronicles.
sounds a little racist, but
wearing Mammy's jammies.
that was Al Jolson in blackface who did Mammy, by the way.
Yeah,
I think GD gets jammy with clammy mammy.
That was the first sound film thing, by the way. The first sound was the jazz singer Al Jolson doing "Mammy."
Yeah, they keep one of the things they're doing. I think I've seen 17 tributes to Jimmy Carter yesterday in like a 1 hour period. You know, it was like every guest had like a Jimmy Carter story. And the one thing that I keep forgetting is like every time people talk about Jimmy Carter, not every time, but quite often people talk about Jimmy Carter, they remind us that Jimmy Carter was the first president that was actually born in a hospital. And then I'll forget it. And then like 20 minutes later, someone goes, Jimmy Carter was the first president to be born in a hospital. And I'll go like, oh yeah, that's right. And then I'll forget it. And then I'll hear it again. It's like
that's a really strange fact. Because it's not like all these other guys were born like in the 19th century or something. They were all 20th century. Bill Clinton wasn't born in a hospital.
But Carter
was before him, right? Oh, first, not only.
Right, the first president, right.
Wow.
Now, and the other thing.
Nixon wasn't born in a hospital.
And here's the other thing that gets me. And this is something I just didn't think about. This country is 250 years old officially, 250-ish. Carter was 100 years old. So he was alive for almost half of this country's life.
Okay.
No.
2/5.
Yeah. Better than 3/5, right?
Right. All right. So what's your point?
It's just the little things. That's all. Just the little things that they keep blurting out. They're running out of things to say about President Carter because everybody's trying to say everything about President Carter, and they're running out of shit to say. So next, they're saying things like, "Did you know that President Carter was like the first president to leave office and move back into his childhood home or something like that?" Whatever.
He did no favors for Zimbabwe. All right. Thanks for coming. That was a good show, folks. Wasn't really a good show. I'm lying about that.
It's New Year's Eve. I mean, everyone's been phoning it in for the past 2 weeks or so. So this is the state of the country right now. The show is exactly how the country is feeling.
All right. You want to know my New Year's resolution? You want to know my New Year's resolution?
Sure.
1920 by 1080.
Okay. My wife and I were texting each other back and forth during the show. We're discussing our plans for this evening.
Uh-huh.
And my wife says, "I love you," and I text back, "I love you too."
She sent me that too.
Well, I said that, and I sent it to the chat room somehow in Governor's chat room. I love you too, and I'm just so glad the rest of the things I was saying to my wife about what I wanted to do tonight didn't make it.
Now I tried to see the Governor's chat room live chat replay from yesterday because she said there was a guy who was talking about us. I don't know if us. It could have been me.
He's used plural.
Being no talent hacks criticizing legends.
Right.
And I originally thought it was about me talking about Rogan, which I wasn't really. I was just saying I didn't find him funny. But I think now that I think about it, I was talking about Neil Young, and I was saying Neil Young was just in the right time in the right place, and I think that's who he's talking about. Now that I think about it,
The thing is, in the comments, there's no timestamp there. Like in our comments here, there's timestamps. In the governor's site, there's no timestamp. So I wanted to compare the timestamp when the comment came in to what we were actually saying on air. I couldn't do that because there was no timestamp.
Now, what was the guy's name? Do you remember the guy's name who said that? Warbucks, like Daddy Warbucks. Okay.
Warbucks.
I'll go back to yesterday's and see if I can kind of play it back, because when you have the live chat replay, it does show.
It shows in order, but yeah, it shows in order if there's no delay, I guess. But there's no.
But it's timed to the program, so when you see it come up, if you listen,
yeah,
a lot of work. I just want to know what he's talking about. The legend that was being criticized.
Well, I figured he was. I think it was just you muted, Stephen. I just figured it was like us in general because he said hacks. Plural.
Well, I think that came up when we were talking about the comedians.
That's what I thought also, because I didn't notice it before that, but I wasn't like watching each thing as it came through.
Yeah, but I think you mentioned that when we were talking about the comedians, because you had said that they mentioned all of us being hacks.
Right. Well, when you talk about, again, I hate to kind of make the, what about you, man? But these people who call us no talent hacks, and I would agree with them. I'm no talent. I don't know about hack. I don't know
and I disagree because I am a talented hack. Totally different.
But you haven't heard of any of these people making that claim. Oh, you're a no talent hack. Like, okay, what's Warbucks? I don't see that being advertised anywhere. It's like playing Madison Square Garden anytime soon. Like,
but again, they're using none. So go ahead, Ron.
I remember my senior year of high school. This one class that I had. There was this cute little Asian girl in there, and she liked Neil Young. And she's like, I love this Neil Young album, Harvest Moon, and it killed it for me. It's like, come on. I couldn't get over the fact that, like, if I hung out with her, then I'd have to listen to Neil Young. And it's like that automatically makes you soft when you like hear Neil Young. It's like, this is music. This is for music for people that have finally decided, you know what? Today is the day I'm going to put the bullets in that revolver and end it.
I have a question for you four guys. Yeah, the four of you. I have a question for all four of you. We had the lady on our show, Olivia Melena, the J-pop lady.
Right.
As usually with most of our guests, I will do the honor of following them on YouTube and TikTok or whatever. Most guests. Some guests are really not interesting at all. Ooh. But I think she seems talented. Yeah. And so I went and I followed her on YouTube and I followed her on TikTok.
Did you follow her through the neighborhood?
J-pop artists. I mean, I have been just inundated with Japanese women singing and dancing to J-pop. And like, there's like little girl skirts, and I'm like, okay,
I've been introduced to the art of sensual massage.
Next time we see GD, he's not gonna look like he slept in days, and his one arm's gonna be real swollen. He's gonna be like, I found hentai.
It's a risk of exposing myself as a racist asshole.
What?
What risk?
I know. It seems to me Japanese guys they make Ron look like I don't know, purist of Ivory Snow or whatever. They're into young girls, women dressing up in like little girl outfits. Like, this is a thing. The Japanese.
I mean, I don't know what like the pedophile rates are in Asian countries. I know sexual assault's big in like China and Vietnam and shit because there's more men than women, but I don't know if that's
also
what they're
robot
doing.
sales, sex doll sales are also much higher. So
They are. So that's if they're just dressing up women to look like little girls. I mean, that's way better than little girls dressed as adult women. So,
which is what we do here. We have all these pageants where we dress little girls like grown women.
Dude, since I was fucking when John Benet Ramsey happened, right, and I was a little kid, even then I was like, ew, why are they doing this? Like, no wonder
she couldn't even dance. That's what I'm saying. It's like, why is she doing? She's not even dancing. She's doing this. I mean, if you're gonna do that, do this. You know, so get some hip action in there. You know, gyrate. Don't be doing this.
Well, now you're a new suspect.
Really? My God, what are you talking about? Do this?
Matt's over here like, well, I don't want to come off of a raises. GD's like, pedophile flag, wee.
Yeah. But I don't know. The more I look at this J-pop stuff, the more I'm thinking, like, who is this appealing to?
You know what? I thought my wife would have appreciated it because she's been on this Korean TV show movie kick, and even she was like, I don't feel comfortable with this. I was like,
it feels dirty. It feels perverted.
It does. That's what she said. She's like, this feels like the really bad entry to a really weird Asian porn, and I'm like, it does, right?
Yeah. Now, Olivia seemed like a very nice young lady.
She seems intelligent and talented.
She wasn't shy, and this is where wasn't shy about saying my parents support me. It's like, well, wow.
That's listen. When my wife and I both said the same thing. It's definitely like a rich kid thing.
Privilege.
That's what I see. As soon as you asked about production and stuff and how it costs money, and before you even finish the sentence, I said, unless you're a trust fund baby.
Yeah.
You know? Because that's what I hear. I mean, that's what I see. But I'm not jealous. You know,
I'm extremely jealous.
If you have those kinds of resources and you have the talent, by God, exploit it, use it. You know, I mean, I wish that back when I was younger, I had some kind of money to back the things I wanted to do.
I don't even want to produce anything. I just want to go live with her parents and have them support me.
I was trying to invent things using parts for things that were never meant to be used for those things. You know, I was in the basement blowing shit up, and
they could dress me up like a little girl, and I will look at. Did you see how white I just got? Why did I?
Yeah, as soon as you said little girl, it's like it's like a voice command. Well, if you want to be a little girl, your skin has to be lighter.
What's that? Little girl, little girl, little girl. No, it's not happening. That's weird.
Siri learns very quickly. You didn't want to be a little girl.
What's going on with Steven's ghost? The ghost of Steven's past. You see that?
I think he was talking to his offspring.
Yes.
So they say they're his offspring.
So
Groucho says, according to my mother, you're my father, and that's good enough for me.
Wow.
I don't know that one, but that's funny.
I've grown. Have you noticed I've grown?
Nobody wants to see that. You fucking don't like this.
In this hour, there was a person who tried to book the time, and I declined them. That's growth. I said, no, you can't be on my show.
Was it a psychic?
No, it was his brother.
No, it was a guy who goes by the moniker of Prince George. Not Prince Harry, Prince George. Now, I said, like, and he went to Calendly and he booked this date. And I was like, that name sounds familiar. Why does he sound familiar? And then I went and looked it up. 4 years ago, he was booked on the show 4 different times and was a no-show. And then he wanted to reschedule again. And I was like, no, dude, it's time to move on. Good luck. But I can't just keep doing the work, reposting, rescheduling, getting a picture of you, all that kind of stuff. And then you don't show up. This is 4 times in a row. He thought he'd just sneak it in like I'd forget. So,
I think he's going for the record. I think he heard that somebody was scheduled and didn't show up 5 times. He's like, fuck, they broke my record. I got to get 2 more in there somehow.
I still, and it was uncomfortable right from the beginning because I can't figure out exactly what the guy does. Prince George is like a DJ comic book guy. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know what to make of him. I was uncomfortable with the very first one. I was kind of relieved when he didn't show the first time. Then he booked again. I was like, But so on Sunday, I wrote to him and I said, dude, I knew you sounded familiar. You're the guy that fucked me over 4 times. And I said, you can't be on the show, and he wants to know why. Like, why? Well, hello, you fucked me over 4 times. Why am I going to take a shot at having you on again?
Did he try the old man, I'll just need one more to get my 5-time no-show jacket. One more, all I need is one more no appearance.
No, you know what he gave me? Blessings. He gave me blessings. That's a fucking that's a cheap shot. Don't be blessing me. I'm fucking cutting you off. Give me a fuck you. Do not bless me.
See, I do that with people when they critique me, and depending on sometimes I just say peace and blessings.
So, are you really Prince George in disguise?
No, I'll say thank you for watching and commenting. Peace and blessings. Sometimes I put them peace and blessings, but usually just thank you for commenting and watching.
I prefer a fuck off. I prefer a fuck off, you asshole.
How about a Prince Albert? Would you prefer that?
All right, I'll take
in
that.
the can.
It's better than a blessing. I don't like being blessed. Can we come back to my paranoia about bird flu?
Sure.
Because I got chickens in my yard. Now, at the.
But how often are you feeding the chickens? Usually it's your wife feeding the chickens, right? So.
Oh no, the chickens. This is weird. Like the chickens are. I've mentioned it. They're like a Puerto Rican gang. They fucking chase you around.
So they're like MS Cluck Cluck.
Yeah. Exactly. That's
the Mexican gang.
No, in New York. In New York City, we don't have Mexicans. In New York,
that's New York
we have Puerto Ricans.
Yeah, Puerto Ricans. Yeah.
So Anthony, who was here with my stepdaughter, they just got engaged the other night.
Congratulations!
I guess nine's a charm, right? I take that back. I'm sorry.
It must be an Italian thing because I recently just went to a funeral for an uncle of mine, and he was married 8 times to 7 different women.
Well, she's not Italian.
Okay, which one was the repeat?
I don't know exactly which one was the repeat, but I think she was near the end.
I think the repeat was a guy named Pete.
8 times to 7 different women and 1 guy.
Yeah, and he was twice, Pete and repeat. She's not Italian; she's Colombian, so that kills that theory. But so her fiance was out in the street, and he's talking on his phone at the end of the driveway, talking on his phone, and the chickens were like harassing him, and he was trying to walk away from the chickens, and they were following him. And he could not get away from the chickens. He walked up and down the hill, walking around the block. The chickens were following him, like harassing him. But out of all times to get bird flu in the news, and now I got chickens in the yard. Now I'm thinking the chickens. It's a sign. It's a sign from the devil trying to kill me with bird flu. And I'm
why
very
just
paranoid
you?
about it.
I don't understand. If they're trying to kill you, why is everybody else being alerted?
It's because of the way I've already expressed that I don't want to die of bird flu. I want Matt Timney to come up behind me with a bullet behind the ear.
But even before that, you just said you just don't want to suffer. You just want it to be over quickly. So they could have given the devil, if he's behind it, could have given you AIDS. The devil could have just killed you in your car by letting your transmission blow up, and then you get in an accident, and then you bleed out slowly over a 9-hour period in the cold.
Or your brakes go out, you wreck in your front yard, you're stuck in your car, no one helps, and you get eaten by chickens.
You're in your car, you're in an accident.
You guys sort this out. You've thought of many ways to kill me.
You're stuck in your car. You can't reach the radio to turn it off, and all it's playing is Neil Young songs.
And you haven't seen The Big Lebowski?
You can't get to the radio. It's like, I'm listening to Neil Young as I die.
Sounds like you've seen The Big Lebowski.
Maybe you're driving home, you see your face in the clouds, you get distracted, and all of a sudden a chicken appears in the road, you hit a telephone pole, and then as soon as you make impact, Neil Young comes on, and then you're stuck there for 45 minutes till you bleed out. Also, Robert's here.
Or you're in a car accident. The only person to come to save you is the lead singer from Crack the Sky. And Crack the Sky, he goes, I can save you. All you gotta do is sing one of my lyrics, just one of my lyrics, and I can save you. And that's how
I find it highly disrespectful that you did not name the lead singer of Crack the Sky.
I don't know his name.
That's what I find highly disrespectful. As
so
their
good.
number one fan,
I love
think
their music. I love the music. I love the band. I don't know who the individuals in the band are because to me it's a band.
You're their number one fan. You're their number.
No. Actually, their number one fan is a guy named Rick Gloff.
Oh, okay. How do we know that?
I know that because I know Rick Gloff.
Wow.
He told and he is.
Is his name Lip Gloss? Is that
Rick Gloff? Gloth.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I don't know. What time is it? It's
10:20, and our guest is here.
It didn't announce him.
I said it 3 times.
I heard you say it, but I didn't believe you because it's supposed to announce him. It didn't announce him.
I turned that back on, and it's still not working. So I don't know why.
Yeah, I turned it back on. It's not working for me.
When you came in, because Stephen Ortiz entered the room.
He doesn't have his camera on. I'm not bringing him into the room until I see a camera come on. Is that fair?
Well, at least you can see. I can't even scroll up and down.
You have to go over the window.
You have to be in the right place for scrolling. It's weird. You got to have your mouse cursor directly in the middle of those little video things. Robert, if you can hear me, could you turn your camera on? Well, maybe you don't have a camera. We could add them on just audio-wise. Could we do that?
I mean,
sure we can. I don't know where we'll put his hole.
He's right there.
There it is.
Good morning, Robert. Can you hear us? Hello, Robert. You're muted and your camera's off.
His microphone does not say it's muted.
Not muted. Robert, are you there? Are you there? Testing. Okay. I guess this isn't going to work out. All right, then. Well, that was Robert for you, folks. Thank you, Robert, for being part of the show this morning. If you get to
I'll watch his little window and see if he pops on at all.
Yeah,
But
watch his little window.
There's something in the private chat.
Something in the private
there's
chat.
something in private chat.
I know you're here, but we don't see you. We don't hear you. You don't have your mic or camera on, and this is kind of like one of them would be nice. I want to share something. Can I share something with you guys?
Sure. As long as it's not bird flu.
Eat at Manucci's.
It's a video of a UFO. This will get
Robert, or as I call him, because we go way back, Bobby. He likes to be called Bobby or Bob.
I don't think he does.
Or Bert. Sometimes likes to be called Bert. Or sometimes like to call him Mr. Goodland Bar.
I thought it was Butterlips.
I'm trying to get this working. Normally, I think just fine. Normally they work just fine.
All right. So he's trying to get it working. We'll continue to monitor that situation. I want to show this video of the UFO. Now, is it just me, or can you see a string on top of that thing, that light?
That's so fucking.
Yeah, I don't know what that's supposed to be. Is that like a lampshade without the pole on the bottom? What is happening?
Right, you can see a string holding it up, right? Or is that just me?
No, I don't see a string. That's either a physical object that somebody.
When it lights up, look at that. Look at on top of it. You see it?
When it lit up, I just saw a stream of light.
I think that was just a light reflection, but that's fake as fuck. There's no.
Stop sharing. All right. Stop that, damn it. People are trying to pass this stuff off as real. Like, nobody's going to fall for that.
No.
Just stop it. Just stop it already. So, yeah, just every time you think the UFO nonsense, the hysteria is subsided, another one of those things come back.
You know, the things that
I just ignore it when I see like anything that starts with the UFO, I go right past it. I'm like, go fuck yourself, because who cares?
Robert, I would try leaving the room, coming back in, and maybe you'll get the prompt for camera, allow microphone. Right? Does that work? I think that's probably the best way to do it. Like,
he
go
said,
out and come
"Sounds
back.
good."
Yeah.
Well, he typed "sounds good." I don't know if he actually said it.
Maybe it means my mic sounds good, right? My mic. No, he doesn't mean that. Anyway, yeah, so there was one that seemed pretty compelling, a thing over Jersey that somebody claimed over Jersey. It could be anywhere. But it was a low flying, it definitely looked like a drone, but it much bigger than like a drone you would buy like in a
I don't know. I'm still leaning on these are probably some sort of military type drones because they're huge.
It's a mixture. It's a mixture. It's not just one type of drone. It's a mixture of drones. Some of them are government, some of them are commercial, some of them are personal.
No, not necessarily. It depends on where you're at, because New Jersey has restricted the airspace. They have
and people obviously obey the law when they.
No, hold on. But the difference is the commercial drones and the civilian drones are able to be attacked, brought down, all of that. These other ones that they're experiencing, they can't bring down. They don't have radio communication. They're not producing a signal. So that's why they're having trouble bringing these things down or figuring out where they're going, because they must be programmed. Like, they're not manned or not even remote controlled. They're like pre-programmed, which very much sounds like a military type thing to me. I don't think it's aliens. I just don't. As much as I'd love it for it to be, I don't think it is.
Why would you love for it to be? This is the thing I don't get. Why would you love it? Are you that lonely?
No.
You can't make human friends. You need friends from another planet.
I just feel like, well, I mean, I don't think we'd be peaceful with them, but I think if the planet had a common enemy to focus on, things would get a little.
It wouldn't make a difference now.
All right,
it wouldn't make a difference now, because the
maybe
first
not
thing
now, but
nowadays it wouldn't make a difference, because
maybe in the past, maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago, maybe.
Oh, Robert's there. We see Robert.
Oh yeah, he's working. There we go.
All right. Let me see about good land. Well, we'll just try this and see. Yeah.
Hey.
Good morning, Robert.
Good morning.
Robert Goodland is a retired firefighter, paramedic from a career department in West Central Wisconsin. Childhood sexual assault survivor, diagnosed with PTSD following a scuba diving accident where he was trapped under the ice following equipment malfunction, and he's written a book about it called Beneath the Surface. He's here now. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, gentlemen. Sorry about that.
It happens, you're here now, and we appreciate that.
The first time it's happened, I blame Robert. It's never happened before.
Yeah, I'm sure it's mine.
Right. That's like a Bill Cosby thing. Right.
So is quaaluding your guests. That's a Bill Cosby thing.
Where's my overlay? I want to show the book. I have the book loaded up here. Why is the book not? Anyway, the book is called Beneath the Surface. This is my worst nightmare ever. I will get to the horse thing, but being trapped beneath the surface. Were you conscious during that whole ordeal?
For the first part of it, yes.
Oh, you went unconscious at some point while they were trying to rescue you, or was somebody trying to rescue you, or you were on your own? Tell us about it.
In public safety diving, we dive alone, but we're tethered. So I had a communication line that went to the surface with a safety line. But when I had the equipment malfunction, I lost my ability to communicate. So I didn't know that they knew I was having a problem. Yeah, there's the book.
Yeah.
Now, could you tug on the line to let them know, or did you have like a code? Like if you tug on a line 3 times, they know that you're in deep shit or deep water?
Before years ago, that is how we communicated, by tugs on the line. And but in my panic, there was no tugging. The guy that was on my line, his description of it was, he said, it felt like I had a fish on, because I was dropping my shoulder looking for my backup regulator and not finding it. And hitting your head on the underside of the ice, and your chest starts burning, and you just know you're going to inhale. It's not a question of if, it's when. And so luckily they were on top of it. When Mark, who was my communications guy, he had said that all he heard was static, but what it actually was the regulator free flowing through the mask that was no longer on my face. And so then he tried a few times to raise me, and then, by communication, and then asked him to pull me in. But I was 80 feet from my entrance hole, so it took a while to pull me back in.
See, now that's my worst nightmare. I said bird flu is not a way to die. That's even worse. That's the worst way to die for me. That's
I gotta be honest.
Would it have been prudent for them, rather than to try to pull you to 80 feet, if someone were to like dive while they're pulling you? That way they could like meet you at 40 feet and you'd have less time without oxygen?
Maybe.
I'm just saying. I
yeah.
I've been in your situation, except I didn't have the equipment. I was just dying. So, and I didn't have anybody trying to help me either. They were like going, "Drown, nigger, drown!" So I was. That was.
Sorry, Gubs.
So I didn't have anybody trying to help me. At least you had people trying to help you.
Yeah, I'm very grateful for them. I actually sent them Christmas cards. The accident happened on December.
You cheap bastard! They saved your life. You sent them cards. Oh my god! Matt, get him off the show. Get off him. He's cheap.
I should have bought him a car or something, right?
Right now, I have an Amazon link. Both these links, the link to Heart of a Horse, are in the description, and the Amazon link where you can buy the book called Beneath the Surface. Right now, we're seeing the Amazon link scroll across. Was this now PTSD? This talking about this, you're fine with talking about it, and it doesn't bring back like.
No, we're good.
Wow,
I've done a lot of work. I've done a lot of personal work.
Were you interested in therapy before this, or is that the catalyst that made you interested in becoming a good Gestalt therapist?
Yeah, I had been involved in therapy prior to this for different reasons. I don't have 8 wives, but I've had 2, which generated some therapy and trying to figure out who I am and why I do what I do and what's going on in my life. But the diving accident was the catalyst that really opened the door to everything. I had never dealt with a sexual assault. I'd never even really talked much about the sexual assault until well into adulthood. And the diving accident and trying to work through that really opened the door to the rest of it. And the family dynamics issue, I found out when I was 19, my dad told me that he wasn't my father, and took until I was 27, 28 years old to actually find out the truth that my father was, well, I don't want to give too much away from the book, but yeah, it was a mess. And
Jesus.
So, the diving accident was the thing that opened up the door to all of that. It's also, the diving accident was also what I had horses 2 years, right? I got horses right before the accident, and it was because of that. I didn't know that I was going to be able to go back to the fire department. I had huge problems with claustrophobia, which doesn't work well as a firefighter. I didn't know if I was going to be able to go back, so I thought for a while maybe I could train horses for a living, which don't try that route.
Damn.
But that did put me in contact with the people that got me involved in the coaching program in Colorado that I eventually took in 2018. And that's when I started my coaching career.
Jesus.
Now, when you were under the water, were you aware that you were about to die? And what were your,
He wasn't about to die. He didn't die.
Oh, I was extremely acutely aware that I was going to die. In fact,
so did you have last thoughts or regrets in the moment, I should have finished such and such, or I wish I'd finished, maybe I wish I'd asked that girl out in 6th grade, and I something, some regret. And did you?
It could have been that profound.
Oh, okay. Because my next question was, did you act on it? Because I know when I thought I was going to die, my regret was I didn't finish college.
Sure.
And I thought if I lived, I would finish college. And I lived and I didn't go back to school. I didn't even
Right.
The only reason I went back into a college was to pick somebody up who needed a ride. That's it. So
We've been listening to our guest this morning, G.D. Fenderson, tell his life story. I'm sorry.
Yeah, shut up,
I
GD.
appreciate hearing
God.
it. And it's a good question.
Thank you.
I would just say that it was a little bit different. I did my thoughts when I was very aware of what was happening, and it happened on an exhale because I was talking to Mark, to my communications guy.
Right.
So I was exhaling as you're speaking, right? And then everything blew up. So it was a first stage regulator failure. So the whole 2,500 PSA or PSI came to my face. It blew off my mask. It blew off my hood. So it was very sudden. It was very instant. The cold water in my face. And as I was trying to hold my breath, because instinct says to, my last thought was, so this is where it's going to end. I was that sure as you are that the sun's going to come up tomorrow morning. That's how sure I was that this is where I was going to die. But I will say that after the accident, and it took probably a couple years, but then I got to what you're talking about of, you know what? I am going to live my life the way that I want to live my life. I have a necklace that I wear, live with passion. It's like, I was given back the gift of time. What am I going to do with it? And that's where the whole thing with the coaching program, everything that I do with my clients, all of that comes from the place of, I've been given back the gift of time. What am I going to do with it?
All right. Now, thank you for this is leading it exactly into where I wanted to go with this. In a way, it sounds so corny to believe that this terrible thing that happened to you, which is my worst nightmare, being trapped beneath the surface, is a blessing. It changed your life for the better. Does that make you religious? Does that make you believe in things like destiny and fate or any of that kind of stuff?
I consider myself to be very spiritual. I struggle with organized religion.
Yeah.
But I do consider myself to be very spiritual. I always have been. And right along with what you said about this being a blessing, it is absolutely a blessing. And one of the things I write about in the book is how did I know that I was beginning to heal from my traumas? And it's when I could view those traumas through the lens of the benefit. And because of that accident, because of the PTSD diagnosis, because of the experiences that I had following the accident, from lost time to the panic attacks to the same things that you hear. I'm not a veteran, and I'm in no way comparing my experience to what veterans have been through, especially veterans who have been in combat. But I got an inkling of what some of the things they go through. And because of the experience that I went through, I now have some frame of reference when I sit with a veteran client or I sit with a first responder client and I walk with them through their traumas. I have an inkling. So without that accident, I don't have a frame of reference. The sexual assault. It's not that I want to go back and do these things or have these things happen again, but I can look at them as a blessing, because without that sexual assault, so many of my clients, male and female, have had their sexual boundaries violated. I can't sit with them and have any type of connection with them without that. So yeah, those things were absolutely a blessing. Again, I don't want to go through them again, but they were a blessing, and they were dots that connected to the life that I have now. And I'm telling you, I love my life. It's not perfect. I'm human. But I love my life. That wasn't that way before the accident. That is something that has come since the accident. And yeah, I believe in destiny. I don't believe in coincidences.
Now, by chance, in your profession now, then, is there such a thing as patient-client or therapist-client confidentiality And if so, how do you trust the horses to keep those secrets? Because horses are quite intelligent. Horses, they're quite intelligent and they do communicate with each other. So is there not concern that the horses are going to start talking? You won't believe the nutcase I had rubbing me today. I don't think I want them touching me anymore. That kind of thing.
Is GD black and white?
What's that?
Is GD
something happened?
White?
Something happened on my screen. At first, I started freezing up, and then I lost
thought I
color.
was freaking out because I'm like, wait, he's not black anymore. He's like light gray.
Yeah, I saw it too, and just snapped, just like that.
Just like that. I got 5 horses, so they might talk to each other. They just smile at me. They might be snickering. I don't know.
For people who don't know, like me, explain to me exactly what Gestalt is all about. The techniques within Gestalt. Is it reliving, like re-experiencing? There's a lot of people we've had on who are involved in mental health care. You got to go back and relive it. We got to, go through it all over again. To me, that always feels counterproductive. What is Gestalt all about?
So the goal is not to go back and relive it. And hopefully this isn't viewed as just splitting hairs, but the goal is not to go back and relive it because that's re-traumatizing. Gestalt is a German word, loosely translates to wholeness. And we are, as a human being, we have many parts to ourself. So the parts of self. And the difference between Gestalt coaching and therapy and counseling, and I'm not anti-therapy or anti-counseling or talk therapy or anything like that. Gestalt therapy is experiential. The premise behind it is, I am not the expert in your life. You are. You are perfect, whole, and complete as you are. You are not damaged. You are not broken. Something happened to you. That something that happened is now affecting your current life and the life that you want. So you have the answers that you are seeking. They're already inside you, but they're outside your awareness. My job as a Gestalt coach is to set up experiences based upon your unique situation for you to discover your own answers. So I set up experiential things. Sometimes I partner with the horses. I did 2 years of training to learn to do this with horses. And my background is in reading horse behavior. And that's what I use with the Gestalt coaching with the horses, the equine Gestalt coaching. I did a second 2-year training program to do it without horses.
Now, what if the trauma was actually caused by a horse? Is it?
We can do the same thing.
I think they'd probably go someplace else. If your trauma is a horse thing, I don't know if that's the.
They might not pick me, but it's not. Some people just innately have a fear of horses. I can do the work with the human client on one side of the round pen fence and the horse on the other. And
now, do your horses have goats? Because a lot of horses have at least one goat to keep them calm. That's the matter of fact, that's where the expression "something got your goat" comes from.
It came from the racehorse industry because racehorses were frequently alone. I don't have goats, but I do have 5 horses. So.
In talking about, because I think everybody walking the planet, and I could be wrong about this, but I feel strongly that everybody walking the planet has some trauma in their past. We don't get to be an adult without having something traumatic happen to you, right? Most people don't. Nobody I ever met did.
Yeah.
But a lot of people hold on to it, and especially with all the mental health people we talk to, they go about talking about working through past trauma, and I think there are 2 parts of it: acceptance that you're not going to change the past, and forgiveness is a part of it. Now, I was having this conversation with somebody who was holding on to past abuse and still blaming and still just wanting to express this in a rage format constantly. And I say, you know what? Everybody's parents. Nobody had perfect parents, and this is like a mantra I come on.
My kids did.
All right. But I and it becomes like an Olympic, like who's got like a contest, like who has where. And I don't mean it to get into that, but I said, my father lost me at a racetrack when I was 3 years old, took me on a murder when I was 5 years old. And the response, I guess it's in a text message here. I just have to read this because it's stunning. She said, there are typical mistakes and then there is abuse. Like that doesn't, like mine was so much worse than that. And it's like, we're not setting up a contest like whose trauma is worse. It's that we all go through it. And at some point you can either choose to forgive, not for them, for yourself, so that you're not living in this state of rage all the time. Do you find that this is a common thing where oh boy, you don't know anything, you got to see what I went through, mine was much worse? It's like an Olympic sport.
I do see that. I currently work with an organization here in Eau Claire, a nonprofit called Eau Claire Sober Living, and we just opened our first men's house, but we've had 2 women's houses, women coming out of treatment, coming out of prison that are early in recovery. And what you're describing is kind of that victim mode, and they're the victim, and it just speaks to where they're at in their healing. The goal is to move through that and eventually find some peace with it. And I agree with you 100% about forgiveness. I don't come from the premise that we have to forgive our abusers. It's like you said, it's not for them, it's for me, it's for us.
Right.
And I'm sure you've heard the statement, resentment is like drinking poison hoping the other person dies.
Right.
And so as we work, as I walk with people as they work through their traumas, the goal is for them to move through that and find that peace that this event happened, and we start to drop the meaning behind it. So often we carry that resentment and everything because it comes from a place of it means something to us. It meant something that my sexual boundaries were violated, or it meant something to me that this person did this to me.
Yeah.
And eventually we try to get to what I have done in my own personal life is it's something that happened. It isn't necessarily, I'm the one that assigned the meaning. It's just an event. That diving accident was just an event. I'm the one that made something about it. I made meaning about it. And when I can start to drop that meaning, you start to drop all of that, the really sharp edges of the traumas. But you have to do a lot of work to get through that, because it's a very natural reaction when we've been victimized to be angry. That is one phase and one stage of that, but we need to work through that if we want to have a whole and complete life.
See, now as a person who was given to like anger and rage problems, I actually went into anger management classes for a while because I had a hot temper. But for me, that it's a passing thing, and maybe that's a more healthy way to do it, is to get it out of your system. But you don't carry it around your entire life. Once you express it, you're able to let it go.
That's the gestalt. When you say scream and let it out, that's gestalt.
Oh,
there's a great book called the Body Keeps the Score, and the author talks about trauma is stored in the cells. It's stored in the body, and you have to physically get it out. And that's why Gestalt therapy or Gestalt coaching uses experiential, because you're doing something and you get the trauma out of the body.
Wow.
So, exactly. Screaming, I have my clients do it as often as I can. If anger and rage is a thing for them and they've got all this trapped in, we do some stuff to get it out.
Now
it's amazing to hear a primal scream, a genuine, true, when somebody gets to scream like they haven't been able to. It's incredibly moving.
Now, I wanted to ask you about 2 other things, but since you talked about screaming, I know that when my kid, I used to pick up my youngest from school. On Friday, we have a screaming session, and I pull over and I tell her, I said, you have 5 minutes, turn the music up as loud as you want, scream, do whatever you for 5 minutes. I said, because when we go home, we're going to be cleansed, and we're going to take the whole weekend is us together. I want you to get, and that's what she'd do. We'd pull over, and
beautiful.
she'd turn up the radio as loud as she could, and she would just scream, scream, scream for about 5 minutes. And when she felt better, we'd pull off, and then we'd go home. But
that's beautiful.
now, you was talking about this. First of all, you was talking about you're not the expert in people's lives; they're the expert in their own lives. But most people, when I say most, I mean all, lie to themselves constantly, for whatever reason. And so you're kind of like having to get them to admit the truth before they can go forward. Or do they have to admit the truth? Do they just start the process and then the truth just comes out? And the other thing I want, if you don't mind commenting on, is that it is kind of innate for people to look for meaning in things.
Yes.
Even if it's just a random event, in order for them to make sense, they will assign meaning to it.
Correct.
And look for a pattern. Go like, I knew it. This is like the 4th time I've lost a quarter this week. The universe is trying to tell me something.
Yep.
So
that's human nature. We are meaning-making machines.
Wow.
So what about the people lying to themselves? Is that something that you actively work on? Is that just something that comes through where they find the truth through the process?
My goal is that they find the truth through the process. I will set up experiences. I'll ask coactive questions that can help lead them in a direction. But yeah, we oftentimes lie to ourselves and we deny the truth of something that might actually be happening or did happen.
Especially in sexual assault to a young person, they kind of sublimate it. What I find is quite often it comes out 20 years, 30 years later. They don't talk about it for. I knew 3 sisters that were abused by their father, and it was swept under the rug, never talked about until they were well into their adult years. And it's like, then people tend to not to, you're all making this up, right? Because it's so far in the past, why bring it up now? But that's a big part of it, is sublimating it and not dealing with it at the time, but it never stays under the rug, right? It's always going to come out eventually.
That's the hope. That's the hope. And that's honestly, that's why I wrote the book, because I think everybody has a story and somebody can relate to your story, and your story can offer hope to somebody in some form or fashion. And that is why I wrote the book. I needed to tell my story. I just needed it out of me. It was amazing how much processing I did, specifically on the sexual assault. Some details came back that to me were fragmented until I actually physically wrote them down, and then they became clear. So there was a lot of processing that happened in writing my story. And yeah, for me, the assault, I didn't tell anybody. I don't even recall not telling somebody. I just didn't.
Right.
And then as a male who was sexually assaulted by another male, an adult male, you carry a lot of shame. And so then you don't talk about it because it feels shameful. And it took quite a bit of work. And I did a lot of work as I was going to school to know that the shame isn't mine. It was my abuser's. He's the one that can carry that shame, not the 11-year-old me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Shame is a way. Just yesterday I was listening to a conversation where somebody was claiming that shaming could be, there's such a thing as positive shaming. And I don't necessarily, because they were talking about body shaming, fat shaming somebody to help them get thin. Like, I don't think that's a positive way of addressing that. But when you talk about shaming somebody who is a perpetrator of an assault on somebody else, I'm not sure that I need to rethink that, whether there is some use in that.
I'm not saying I should shame him or the public should shame him. It's just, if somebody's going to carry that shame, it shouldn't be me,
right? Okay.
The abuser. If there's shame to be carried, he can carry that.
Is there a need to confront this person, or not necessarily like in a court of law or any of that stuff, but just to address the grievances and like acknowledge that you did this to me?
Like in a dark alley with a bat.
I actually, and again, I wrote about this in the book, but he did end up getting arrested. So my assault happened in 1976. He was arrested in 1999 for same acts. And when I found out about it, he had already been convicted and he hadn't been sentenced yet. So I made a call to the DA, told him that I had information, if it would make a difference. I knew they were in the pre-sentence investigation. I used to be a correctional officer, so I was familiar with the process a little bit. And he has since been released. I think he did 10 years. And I did make an attempt through an organization called Restorative Justice to meet with him. And not to set the record straight or anything like that. But at that time, when I was making that request, I wanted him to see that in spite of him, I've had a great life.
Wow.
And if he is carrying guilt about it, he can let it go. I am okay. Even though this happened, I told him, I ended up having to write him a letter because he took about a year of negotiating between him and Restorative Justice. And he ultimately denied my request to meet with him. But he did admit that once he got the letter that I wrote him, because the guy I was working with said, if you got something to say, write a letter. So I did. It was a beautiful piece of penmanship. And it was right after he got the letter, he said, nope, we're done. And he said, I started having nightmares when I read the letter. So clearly there's something going on for him. But ultimately, I just wanted to know, I wanted him to know that I am okay in spite of him.
Wow.
And, I kind of regret not ever getting that chance. And to be honest with you, in the letter, I said, I want to know what happened to you. How did you end up down this path? How did you end up down the path of abusing children for, 25 years? Again, everybody has a story. What was his story? Because part of that for me was maybe some closure. Here's what happened to him. And now he was reliving that through. I don't know. I have no idea.
The case I was trying to make the other day is that, yeah, maybe you were a victim, and in your case, certainly you were. But you have to understand that every victimizer probably was a victim at some point in their life, and that's where the forgiveness comes in. Like, it's not like they were born to do this to you. They went through some stuff. They transferred that on as a way of possibly of coping or just understanding. Or carrying that shame that made them do it. Could be all these things.
Any number of things.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And honestly, if I can't look at my life today and say, I love my life and I love what I do. I love my coaching career. I can't look at that and say, but I wish this never would have happened. Because part of who I am today is because that happened. So I can't carve out that part. And that's where some of that peace comes from. And I agree with you that forgiveness it's like, yeah, it happened. And here's the beautiful thing that came out of it.
Tremendous power in this idea that you can look at your life and think you've had a wonderful life because clearly bad things have happened to you. I think there's a great power in that. We could all kind of, because we tend to not let these things go and use them as an excuse for just not being happy. And you are able to somehow look at your life and say, my life, I love my life. I think that's a goal. Right? That's the goal for everybody.
Yep. Because like you said, we all have traumas. We call them big T traumas or little T traumas, but we all got them.
Right. Now because we are getting short on time here.
Yeah. You bet.
Where does the horse part of it come in? Like why go to like horses involved in therapy? Because I think you would agree that it's not like usual. It's not like a common thing or maybe it is, and I'm just not aware of it, that horses in therapy are not.
Yeah, there's a lot of different therapies that do involve horses. The program that I graduated from, there's no riding or anything like that. The horses just have a very calming, innate energy to them. People just feel good looking at horses. Even if they're afraid, they still like to see pictures of them. There's a calming presence to them. horses being a prey animal, they, out in the wild, they know they taste good. So their energy is reading predators, and we are a predator. So when I'm working with a client and I'm partnering with my horse, I'm reading their energy and how the horse is interacting with the client, and that lets me know partly of what's going on with the client. I will tell you, and I wish we had a little bit more time, but there are some things that the horses have done. I can't script it. I think I can't teach it to the horses, but they have shown up in some of the most incredible ways that takes me a minute to realize what the horse is actually trying to tell me.
I told you they're talking amongst themselves.
Yeah. I don't disagree.
Question here from the chat room. Are we talking about sexual abuse? Yes, and other things. I'm sorry to interrupt that.
No worries. I saw that come up too. Yeah. It's oftentimes I'll have people, like I had a veteran one time that just needed to tell a story. And I wanted to go back to this. Gestalt is not going back and reliving the trauma. It's going back in the past, bringing the trauma into the present and finishing it. Because the unfinished business of the trauma is because something didn't get finished at the time. So we bring it, and I had a vet put his hands on this horse. I gave him a grooming tool, and in about this pace, if you can see me, he did just this real slow, and he just, for an hour, he told his story, and Bo, my horse, just dropped his head, literally fell asleep, and this guy told his story to Bo. Doing that with the horse kept him connected in the present while he reached back into the past and relieved and retold something that was very traumatic. But the presence with the horse kept him rooted in the present. So it wasn't just going back and reliving it. It was bringing it here and finishing it, saying what he needed to say to his friend that died. All of that can happen in the present, and that finishes that unfinished business.
That's like me talking to the guy who does my hair. While he's doing my hair, I'm talking to him, and he's like, no, you're hearing everything.
He's staying present with you.
Yeah.
As you can see, I don't have that luxury.
Me neither.
But I don't have a horse.
I was going to say, me, myself, Matt, and Robert, we look like a young.
Don't ever lump yourself in with me and Robert. You're not on a level.
That's true. I sit down all day. You guys are probably.
No, taller. I meant you're not on our level. You're up here.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like down here. I sit. So yeah, that makes sense.
And you don't have glasses.
Talk to me about
just readers, because I'm old.
About the book now, because a lot of people who have gone through things write books as a method of therapy for themselves. It's a therapeutic process in writing the book. But I've been on this kick lately where, because the publishing, it's whatever in the creative arts, a lot of people get into it really focused on the outcome. Like, I want the outcome to be people read this and it will change their lives. I want to perform in a band or perform comedy and people to acknowledge me. So you're on outcome, and I think that's it's an unproductive way to be. You have to enjoy the process, do it for the process, and anything that comes outcome-wise, where you've touched people's lives and made a difference, that's all residual extra bonus. But the reason for doing it really has to be enjoying the process. Do you agree with that, or
I do, and I have struggled because I am putting my life out there. I'm a first-time author, so it's not like I have this expectation that this is going to be a New York Times bestseller or anything like that. I'm a first-time author, a guy trying to tell a story. I wrote it because I wanted to tell my story. It was extremely therapeutic. I will tell you that I've already gotten the greatest benefit that I could ever have from this book. Nothing else matters. If somebody reads it and it has an impact and has a positive effect, man, my heart will swell. But my daughter read the manuscript. I gave both my daughters the chance to read it before it came out, because they're talked about in there, and my relationships with their mothers and all that. And I wanted them to see it before it was in print. And my oldest daughter, and we've had some struggles over the years, not recently, but years ago. And she read the manuscript. She called me and she said, "It's fantastic. And the greatest compliment was, I feel like I understand my father better."
Wow.
Now you have
So
5
there's the
horses.
best reason to write it.
You have 5 horses.
Yep.
If you have something that's on your chest that bothers you, which horse do you go to first to talk to? Which horse is your favorite horse?
Jeez. That's like asking who's your favorite kid.
Yeah, but everybody has a favorite kid. They just don't want to admit it because it makes them sound like a bad parent.
Well, Mrs. Smothers would disagree, but
it's Annie. So if you go to the website and you look, it's the Palomino mare, the blonde.
See?
Annie.
And you had an answer. You knew that answer, but
I knew
when
that
you
answer,
chided
but
me
makes
saying,
sound bad.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but you knew you had an answer when you said, why are you asking me? Because you knew you had an answer. Everybody has a favorite.
So
now what makes the Palomino? What makes the Palomino your favorite?
Man, she was a rescue. I got her when she was 4. She was unstarted. I mean, she hadn't been saddled or ridden. So everything that's great about her, I did. Everything that's not so great, I did in her training. But she has a phenomenal personality. She does this work with me. We partner together really, really well. She's great with clients. She's very patient with clients. She's just a really sweet, energetic, outgoing, beautiful horse.
Wow.
Now, is Annie the horse that's most like you? Or which horse is most
I
like
am
you?
sweet and outgoing. Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
And she's good looking.
I'm really.
Goes without saying.
How long has the book? How long has the book been out?
Weeks. I haven't done. It's out on Amazon right now. I've got to approve the ebook yet, and I'm waiting on the printer for my, for the print run. So I haven't even done a book release yet. So it's literally been just probably a couple weeks that it's been available.
Were you in a life of service before the incident with the under the surface? Were you a because I know you're a fireman. I thought somewhere I read you were a correctional officer.
Yes,
he was.
Yep.
So was that life of service a part of your life before that incident?
Yeah. My career with the Department of Corrections was about 6 years, 5 years at a maximum security. My last year, I was a sergeant. I was a work release coordinator, so I helped guys find jobs, and as they were getting out, and that was very rewarding. Working in the Department of Corrections was a very negative environment, and where I was in my own healing and my own mental health, it wasn't going to go well if I stayed there. But I was doing volunteer fire and EMS at the same time that I was a correctional officer. So then I left the Department of Corrections to become a career firefighter.
Interesting, because when I first read your story, the movie Copland was in my mind. Are you familiar with the movie Copland?
I've heard of it. It's an older movie. I'm not sure if I've seen it.
Sylvester Stallone, Robert De Niro, Harvey Keitel. It's about corrupt cops in a town in New Jersey. But Sylvester Stallone is a good guy. He's a good cop, and his life was changed by this incident under the water, where he was trapped under the water, equipment malfunction. I was like, wow, it sounds like the movie was based on your life. That's
sounds like I should watch it.
But he struggles with having to come to terms with the corrupt police force and some of the things they were doing, and ends up being like considered a rat by guys who were just bad cops. But the early part of that's what drove him into a life of service was that incident in the movie. So
the accident did drive me into coaching.
Yeah. Interesting stuff, Mal. Coming back to the idea that so you wrote the book for yourself, but I think that is probably, if you start from that place, that's the best way of probably reaching somebody, is because you're being completely authentic about your intentions in the book. You're not writing it to be the next the bestseller. You're writing it from a place of, I need to express this. This is your best way of actually becoming or resonating with people, and I think that's the message that I want all creatives to take away from it. If you come at it from a sincere perspective of enjoying the process, your odds of that outcome that you really got in the back of your mind is probably more likely to come true. So
Apparently, Jeremy's not happy with us in the chat.
Now, I have to ask about this because on the website, heartofahorse.com, there's kind of like I don't know if it's an NDA. There's a thing you have to sign off on that. What's that all about?
It's just the waiver because we're working with horses.
You know, like dealing with some secret,
liability.
No,
it's just a liability release. No, and I have my clients sign 2 releases. One is a liability release because we're working with horses, so the attorneys, my insurance company, want that. And then the second one is I have them sign what's called a coaching agreement, and what that says is that they are acknowledging that I am a coach. I am not a counselor or therapist, and I'm not trying to be something that I'm not.
Wow. Well, good for you, and thank you for sharing this story. I mean, it's
my pleasure. Thanks for letting me share it.
Yeah, we'll do what we can to continue to promote the book. Again, the book is called Beneath the Surface. There's a link to the Amazon place where you can buy it, and the link to theheartofahorse.com is on scrolling across. Both those links are in the video. Now,
where are you physically located? If you
that's where we were going to get to next. People, most of our mental health people work with people online. You don't do any of that, right? They have to come out to the ranch.
Nope. I do phone coaching, Zoom coaching, as well as in person.
Wow. But people do come out to the ranch. So I'm calling it a ranch.
Yeah, the farm is in Mondovi. It's Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
Wow.
It's the closest town.
And you don't have any goats for your horses. That's a shame.
No goats. No goats. They got 4. Each one's got 4 other buddies.
Wow. Just Leslie. Now, I hate to even go here, but I have a friend who is a horse person, and she's had this horse.
She yells all the time. She can't help it.
Yeah, right. 6 months ago, her horse died, and it was like her daughter died. I mean, and so the attachment you get to these horses are unlike. I mean, I've gone through some stuff with a dog. I have never seen anybody who's lost an animal go through what she went through. It was like a child. And listen, when my son died, I had a lady call me and say, "I know what you're going through. Our cat died 18 years ago," which was a little weird. On the day my son died, she told me, "Yeah, I know what you're going through." I can't relate to that, but seeing this lady go through the connection with the horse, the connection to your horses. Now, this is a special thing. It's kind of. Is it like a family member, or do you feel like that kind of a connection with them?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Well, I guess I have to experience that then. I have to experience that. I got to get me a horse.
It's pretty cool. Just go visit first.
All right.
It's like a boat. You know what a boat is? It's a hole in the water where you throw money.
Yeah.
Horses are the same thing.
All right.
Horses are the same thing. So go visit. You can come visit mine.
We get this, magical things about horses. There's even people write songs about magic horses and magical spirit
Going through the desert on a horse with no name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ride that horse if I can. You know that one?
No, but I'm sorry. I'm thinking it's another different.
If you're gonna ride the white horse.
No, it was maybe it's just my era, but I remember, and I don't know who did it. It was around the time Wildfire came out. Remember Wildfire?
Okay, good song.
Michael Murphy. But it was I'm gonna ride that horse if I can. It was about this guy trying to catch a wild stallion and ride it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Anyway,
Roberta Flack wrote a song about horse, but she was talking about cocaine, no heroin.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
Well, we'll move on now. Robert, thank you very much for being part of the program. Good luck with the book. If there's anything we can do to help promote it after this, you can just drop me a line. I'll be happy to if you had any special events going on or anything like that.
Thank you.
Part of a horse.
And if you'd like to bring Annie on the show, we'd love to talk to her. Find out how she feels about this.
We could probably.
He's got a Mr. Ed fetish or something.
Yeah, we could get Annie in the video.
All right.
We could set that up.
All
Thank you guys so much for your time. Thank you for your support. It's been
Have a great day, and thank you for your inspiration and great story. And I love the fact that you can say you love your life.
Yeah, I do love my life.
Have a great day. Bye.
Thanks,
for now.
guys. You too.
Bye. Robert Goodland. Now I got to take the book out. I don't love this new system in StreamYard. I hate to say something good about StreamYard, but it was just a quick beep and it would be gone. Now I got to go in here. Say something while I'm doing
StreamYard had a sense of simplicity that just made everything real easy to do.
Because it seemed like the people at StreamYard actually tried to use StreamYard. It doesn't seem like the people at Streamlab have ever tried to use Streamlab.
Well, here's the thing. Streamlabs has been contacting me. The application for Streamlabs, the desktop application, apparently you don't even need this thing. I can open, but I need lessons in it. I can open up Streamlabs, run this thing through the desktop app, and invite you guys in and do it just like this. I don't know basically how that works, but we don't need this. We can do it without this. I want to see how that works. Design, is it overlays? There we go. Right, overlays. That's the wrong one. That's not it. That's it. No, I can't take the book out. Where the hell's the book? I'm screaming. You got me screaming. Anyway, I wanted to talk about this. You said with the kid in the car, you turn up the radio and the kid can scream.
She turns up the radio to the volume she wants.
Right. Is Crack the Sky on at the Screaming Fest with the kid with the radio? Or
she picks the music. She picks the music. Sometimes it's something that she wants to scream to. Sometimes it's something a little more cacophonous.
So not Neil Young.
Oh, definitely not Neil Young. My radio doesn't even know how to play Neil Young.
Because Neil Young, I don't know if you're obviously you wouldn't be aware of this unless I told you this. Neil Young is the iconic career of Neil Young is the most played video on minddogtv.com in the last month with 387,000 views.
Hey, I'm aware of that.
You were aware of that?
Even before you told me, I was aware of that.
Wow. Like you're a Neil Young psychic.
No, I saw the numbers.
Oh. I thought it might have been telepathy. I'm gonna tune into the
No, that's I'm not a telepath. I'm a sayopath.
You're telepathic.
No, I'm a sayopath.
Oh. My first album, the first album with CA3, Carlos Allende Trio. By the way, Stephen, you familiar with Carlos Allende? You call yourself a UFO guy. How about Morris Jessup?
I thought that was a comedian. Wasn't Carlos Allende a comedian?
No, you're thinking Carlos Mencia. Morris Jessup. Are you familiar with Morris Jessup?
Baseball player, Yankee.
How do you call yourself? How do you call yourself? How do you?
I didn't even get to answer yet. Yeah, he's an American ufologist. I know who he is.
You're not even a real UFO guy. You're a fake UFO guy.
That makes sense.
I did want to show you this New Jersey drone. Can I show you this New Jersey drone? But I'm really disappointed in you as a UFO guy. You can't be my UFO. I need a new UFO guy. You can't be it.
All I know about the dude is he died I think he died in like between 58 and 62.
Let me see this here. Can you?
That looks like an airplane.
Looks like an airplane?
Yes, it looks like to me.
I can't make it any bigger than that. I don't see it looking like an airplane.
Well, I mean, here's the thing:
the shape and the direction it's traveling in.
Well, it also has its port and starboard strobe lights on. But
it's making some noise, which those
that's what I'm
drones.
saying. Yeah, plus you can hear it. Yeah, I think that's a plane in the fog.
I don't know. It looks like one of those square drones, but it looks too big to be a square drone. I'm not saying it's a UFO, but on my screen, I guess blow it up pretty big.
Technically, it is a UFO. It's an unidentified flying object.
I identified it. It's a plane. I identified it.
Yeah, I gotta get a new UFO guy. You can't be my UFO guy. You don't know Carlos Allende. You don't know Morris Jessup. Do you know Kenneth Arnold?
Vaguely. You know I'm not good with names. I have to see faces.
All right. Well,
who's this? You know who that is?
That's a chess piece.
That's Beethoven.
Yes, you're absolutely right. That's Beethoven.
See, if I see a face, I'm good.
I didn't see a face. All I saw was a white blurb.
That's what he looks like now.
Now he looks like worm food, to be honest with you, or digested worm food. Carlos Allende was Carl Allen, but he wrote Morris Jessup wrote the book, The Case for UFOs, in the early 1950s. Carlos Allende, Carl Allen, wrote stuff about the Philadelphia experiment in the margins of the book, A Case for UFOs, and sent them to the United States government as like he was uncovering the thing. And this was in the 50s, and it became like a big part of the UFO movement because he was calling out the Philadelphia experiment. Now the Eldridge was real. He claimed to be on the Eldridge. I think he might have known people on the Eldridge.
Well, Carl Jessup was also murdered after his book was released and everything. So
why you say murdered?
Because
was he killed by rabbits? Was he killed by
unalived?
Well, no, because it was claimed that he had committed suicide or there was an accident, but the facts didn't add up, and I don't think they found anybody that they didn't find a suspect.
Well, I mean, maybe it was suicide. Maybe he took a step back and realized that he wasted his life, and he's like, I wrote this book, and so.
I think he wrote the book just hoping to sell copies of the book, and it did. So I don't think that was a failure for him. He didn't waste his life on that. He actually made some money on that. Good for him.
Ask his wife if he actually had a life.
All right. But that's this is a Donald Trump Jr. thing. I don't know. Yeah. He's obsessed with this fucking thing. I want to rip his fucking fingers off and shove them up his ass. Anyway.
You want to finger Donald Trump Jr.?
That's what it sounded like you said to me.
With his own fingers.
Oh. Okay. Why do you think quit fingering yourself?
With little fake quote fingers.
Stop fingering yourself. Stop fingering yourself.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was a pleasant show. You know, I am uplifted by. I'm going to go search for a girl.
Not a horse.
Maybe you could look for a girl on a horse.
Or a girl horse.
Save a horse, ride a cowboy.
Or a horse girl. That way she can't talk to you. She can't, say, leave me alone, Matt. Don't touch me, Matt.
I'm drinking more wine than I used to. So you guys, it's a big night. What do you got planned?
This.
Sex.
Yep.
What? This is your New Year's Eve. You're not gonna you're not gigging. You're not performing. You're not.
I perform tomorrow, but not today.
You're performing on New Year's Day. Seriously?
On purpose?
Well, New Year's Day evening.
Seriously?
On purpose? Though?
Yeah.
That seems like doing comedy on a double Sunday.
Well, no, he's got to do it because he's got to try out his new equipment, and it's the first Wednesday available to do it.
I can't see anybody. Maybe I'm just an old.
There's 27 people on the open mic list already. So
open mic on
we have one mic a week.
You know what? All is calm on New Year's Day. You too.
Well, why wouldn't you have a show on New Year's Day? Everybody's
I don't think I've ever left the house on New Year's Day.
Yeah, that's the holiday weeks are always terrible.
But it's New Year's. It's not like a holiday that people travel across the country for, unless they're going to New York for fucking Times Square or whatever. But
what does it say? I can't see that. It's too small.
New Year's Eve smoking boneless ribs at my friend's house.
Oh. Smoking boneless ribs. Now, how many boneless ribs do you have to smoke to get high?
Yeah, that's the first thing I was thinking.
Yeah.
I'd probably try eating the boneless ribs personally, but
we're gonna go out tonight, and like the town that's like a mile and a half away, they're having like their first ball drop, and they're dropping a radioactive symbol.
I just had my first ball drop. Oh, that was uncomfortable. No wonder people say I'm a hack comedian, right? Because I'm not a comedian at all, but I am a hack.
Well, I was gonna say, as a hack comedian, you're probably the least comedian of everyone. So, well, besides GD.
Ian says that you have to smoke about 4 pounds of boneless of ribs before you get high.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
See, I'd rather just eat a few of the ribs themselves, not 4 pounds.
Yeah, if it was boned, it wouldn't be that much. But with boneless, I mean, you're talking a lot of fucking meat.
Well, it could be a lot of fat too. I don't know.
I don't know why you're fucking meat, but
right. So I'm going to go out and find a girl. I'm going to do something good. I'm going to rescue somebody. I'm thinking optimistically. And restore a family's peace and solitude. The father will actually sleep for the first time in 22 days. That's what I'm going to do. A good deed. And you guys aren't
even. It
even.
could be a good deed, or you could be the first face she sees when she's rescued and traumatize her for the rest of her life.
She'll never be able to see Groucho glasses again without going into a full PTSD attack.
Like, isn't that face from the cloud?
Yeah.
The cloud's chasing me.
Matt's going to ride in on a horse and accidentally ride over her.
And I want to get a horse now. I don't know. I want to get a horse.
I don't know. You just said save a horse, ride a cowboy.
But the thing is, the horse will outlive me, right?
Depends on how old the horse is when you get it.
Well, I was thinking of getting like a young horse, a
colt.
It also depends on how well you take care of it. You can get a young, healthy horse.
I'm getting a call from horsesrus.com right now.
Horsesrus.com.
I did not know that there was somebody ready to sell me a horse when I said I was going to get a horse. I don't have any money for a horse. I'm gonna steal a horse, and then.
But you got a kidney, right? You have a kidney. You can get a good 30,000-40,000 for a kidney. That's big enough.
Not my kidneys. I don't know if you're aware of my kidney problems. There's a reason they had to take a Black & Decker to my cock. I thought you knew that. I thought that you knew that.
That's what you get for using a PPO. If you had an HMO, they'd use a DeWalt.
Oh. All right. Time to wrap this up. Well, Happy New Year, guys. I mean,
Happy New Year's, guys.
Happy New Year.
Are we having a show tomorrow?
No, yeah.
Yeah.
You are. Not me.
Dude, I think
you know what? I have a show tomorrow night, an author booked tomorrow night show, like on New Year. Nobody is watching. Maybe they will. Nobody is watching 8 p.m. tomorrow night. I think it's a nurse practitioner. It's dealing with chronic pain. You guys got chronic pain? No, could you? I'm going to ask her this, but what makes pain? Where does it become chronic? Where's the line?
When it doesn't stop.
When it doesn't, it never stops.
Mm-hmm.
Chronic pain.
How do you know it hasn't stopped if it hasn't stopped yet?
Because you can feel it. Like my lower back, for example, my lower back, I have chronic lower back pain.
When you're sleeping?
Yes.
How do you know?
When
you're sleeping and you go.
I'll be sound asleep and then I'll wake up to my back spasming. Yeah.
Wake up to it, but not while you're sleeping. So it stops while you're sleeping.
I feel like this is an asinine roundabout question. Of course, you can't feel it when you're sleeping. You're sleeping.
So that's not forever.
Yeah, chronic is when you're awake and you're in constant pain.
All right, that's your definition of it.
No, I thought the chronic is when you listen to Dr. Dre and
That's
for
me too. The chronic.
Hours.
That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, but see, I'm white.
You are.
Oh, Ron and Matt are so not white.
You
are. They're not. They're not. Ron's an albino black man, and Matt is Papuspatuk or whatever. So.
Well, I will give you that Ron has more black cred than I do.
Yeah. All right. Happy New Year to everybody. Thanks for watching. I'm going to go hack my way through Papuspatuk land, Puspatuk, and find a girl.
Are you going to live stream on your phone so that we can keep track of you? You can, Facebook live stream on Facebook.
Wear a shirt with the pocket up here and just turn your camera on and set your phone.
You know what? Maybe I should live stream some of the.
Well, no, because if you find the body, you're going to end up live streaming the body.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, I gotta start making this glue. I got all these horses here in pieces.
Well, how do you know the really sticky ones?
Oh, that's easy.
You can tell. You saw the video earlier, right? You saw the video earlier that Ron played. That's how you find out if they're sticky.
That girl was just patting the horse's stomach, right? Tell me, ease my mind. She was just rubbing his belly.
Yeah.
Well, if you rub my belly long enough, you'll find out if I'm sticky.
All right, guys, I gotta get out of here.
Get out.
I will talk to you guys.
Why? What?
He's got kids. It's
say the words.
Break.
Oh, turn on your radio.
Damn it.